changing, but as we know right now, we have slightly over 100 people who are in detention, including people at Chitalia, those who are at Luzira Upper Prison, Makshon Bay, and other prisons like Chitala, a prison in Impiji, and other places. The other day, our comrade was arrested in Chisoro, another one in Ruchiga, another one in Bushenyi, you remember Mbawazi Pase, and all that. So these are the kinds of cases I'm talking about. Now, I also wanted to mention that we still have close to 300 children who need help because either their parents are in prison, maybe their parents are missing, maybe their parents were killed, and of course those who have been tortured and damaged in one way or the other. So that is the situation I can give you. Like I said, and I want to appreciate our legal team. You can see that from the election, those who were able to document were over 2,000 people, and the legal team has been working very hard to secure bail, in some cases secure bond. Of course, some are always just dumped somewhere in the swamp after 3 weeks. Right now, what the regime normally does is not even to give these people any form. When they abduct them and take them to CMI, subject them to torture and all that, when the time comes and they feel like releasing them, they just say, you go, without giving them any single document. And that started after the Masereka situation. You remember Masereka was our registrar in Kasese, and he was very, very badly tortured. And then they gave him a bond form, and the charge was subversive activities, which is even non-existent. And of course, we went to court. The case took so long, but eventually the court decided that case in favor of Masereka, of the victim. Of course, the court awarded very little money, 30 million shillings as compensation, but at least there was a declaration of the High Court clearly saying that he had been under the custody of CMI and they're the ones who tortured him. So from that time, they stopped giving any document for any victim to prove that this person is in their custody. And so that has been the situation with very, very many of our comrades who are picked from around the country, from Yumbe, from Arua, from Fort Porto, and other parts of the country. So, Andrew, that's the picture I can paint for you.
Okay, much appreciated. We will soon hear from lawyers like Benjamin Katana, who've done a splendid job insofar as the legal response is concerned. However, I have received a lot of feedback from the audience that they were not able to hear what Honorable Chagulanyi was saying. So, Mr. Chagulanyi, I'm going to request you to unmute, and unfortunately, you have to restate your first answer to the question that we posed. Yes. Okay, and sure, and I'll just check to see who can hear the president right now. If you heard what Honorable Chagulanyi said in the last few seconds, please give us a thumbs up. Okay, it appears there's a challenge. Yeah, I can hear you myself.
I can also hear.
Yeah, but the audience cannot.
And I can hear him as well. So I believe maybe many people are hearing him right now.
I'm actually...
Maybe you can mute a random person and find out if they can hear.
On my screen right now, there's a lot of thumbs down. People saying we can't hear him. Okay, let's do a mic check. Honorable Chagulanyi. If you can hear Honorable Chagulanyi, please give us a thumbs up. No, they can't.
Luchiga, another one in Bushenyi, you remember Mbabazi Pase, and all that. So these are the kinds of cases I'm talking about. Now, I also wanted to mention that we still have close to 300 children who need help because either their parents are in prison, maybe their parents are missing, maybe their parents were killed, and of course those who have been tortured and damaged in one or the other. So that is the situation I can give you. Like I said, and I want to appreciate our legal team. You can see that from the election, those who were able to document were over 2,000 people, and the legal team has been working very hard to secure bail.
wache bamutwala kumbe buli omu bamuteeka mu kasenge ke.
The goal was to take the vision.
Bakuleeta bakuyingiza mu kayumba ng'omu ono oluvaawo nga gojja tomanya muno wache bamutwala kumbe buli omu bamuteeka mu kasenge ke ffenna batukola bye bimu era okudda nga naawe ogamba ye musajja batumazemu ekitiibwa kyaffe eky'obusajja tebatandika otusokola bwe bakebera mu magulu muno ze ne banywera ekirevu kino kyali kingi ne batandika otusokola munda ne banyiganyiga zi masozi muno emigongo ne bankunamya we bati ne bankwata guni zange ne bazikwata waggulu ne bakwata ebitundu byange by'ekyama ne babiwanika waggulu ne batandika okunyiganyiga we bati banga ayambala banga asaba essaala esembayo omu yangamba saba essaala esembayo ne mugamba wa toli kato.
Alright, wobanga oli mukulaba video eno I'm very sure omanyi bulungi ebikwatagana ku muganda waffe Edward Sebufu abangi tumanyi nga Edi Mutwe muhoozi era nga mutabani wa Museveni yavuddeyo neyewaana na braginga nga bwe yamuwamba mu kikiriti muganda waffe ono bamuwamba nga 27 Sande lyewedde ngera tubadde tumanyi gyali paka muhoozi bwe yavuddeyo neyewaana nga bwamuyina nga yamukozeeko ebikolobero byonna yamusazeeko embiri yamusazeeko ebirevu kossa n'okumutulugunya n'omukolako byonna bye bamukozeeko up to this point in time. Of course we twogerera kati ensi yonna si Uganda si Africa wabula ensi yonna ekimanyi bulungi ekigenda maaso ku muganda waffe Edward Sebufu. Amanyi gwe tumanyi nga Edi Mutwe. Al Jazeera evuddeyo newandiika ku nsonga eno ate mumanyi audience Al Jazeera BBC ngenda kuba nkuyitiramu mu mawulire ga BBC mawulire ga Al Jazeera mawulire ga Reuters n'ag'enjawulo naye nsoose nkuzzeeyo kemabega okutegeeza nti bino byolaba kati si bipya eri Edward Sebufu. Edi Mutwe ayise mu bugubi buno emirundi egiwera sigumusa ebiri. Video gyolaba ku screen yawo Edi Mutwe yali akunnyonnyola biki bye bamuyisaamu omulundi guli bwe bamukwata ne bababuzaawo era okumala emyezi 7. Tiimu eri ekalangala gye bakwatira kalangala Nubian Lee, Edi Mutwe, Bobby Yanga, Map Media bayitirivu nnyo baganda baffe abakwatira mu kyabajjukira. So omulundi ogwo Edi Mutwe wano abadde akunyumiza biki bye bayitamu nga bobo nga Edi Mutwe mujjukire nti Edi Mutwe yakulira security ya president waffe era nga ekyo musanga eri mutabani wa Museveni musanga eri regime eno musanga
Hello.
Everyone's on Dubizzle Cars. Are you?
Winning is everything. That's why we're here. Avatrade, where champions are made.
Kuba yebo chichimcheni naye. Yeye kabweni na mnayo. Miangana ngamba dusibera strong ngenda kulwana nenwanirira mwe bulungi bera strong bera mwana mugumu gwe mukulu gumya banno era ngamba kumiringezaako naye waliwo tukane bizitowa ng'owulira ozitowa ngawatali tomanyi kyakola bambi mukomyewo eka gwe nina.
Okay. Of course, your situation oba ye update okuva ku family eri ya muganda waffe Edward Sewufu eri Mutwe era nga president of course yatuuseeyo nakuladde lwaggulo n'akyalirako ku family n'abeerako ebitonotono bya sharinga nabo of course okunyolerwa wamu ne family mujjukire nti eri Mutwe ng'era abasajja abalala bali mu myaka egyo omusajja wa family alina omukyala alina abaana Matthew katabanike mukamanyi bulungi katunula binsobedde sajja katukalya biyengeye nkakawo kayi maziga Lucy omulabi naye mbeera gyalimu yeeyo mukyala we maama we naye nga update gye twakafuna ku ssaawa zino lunaku lwa Sande muganda waffe eri Mutwe bakyagaanye muta era ng'akyali mu basement ya Muhoozi bakyagenda mu maaso n'omukolako ebikolobero ebiyitirivu ennyo ebitayisika mu kamwa. Ojjukire nti basoose kutulaga kifaananyi kye n'omwambudde bamusazeeko ebirevu bamusazeeko enviri bamukozeeko buli kimu kye baagala. Waliwo ebifaananyi birala ebyavuddeyo nga byekubye feesi ezimbagatanye. Kyali mu kuyitamu essaawa zino of course si kirungi naye tewali kintu kisinga kunyiiza nga muntu kukolako bikolobero ebyo ate n'avaayo ne yeewaana. Kasooke nkweku obubaka buno obwa maama obwa mukyala wa Eri Mutwe obwa His Excellency Bobi Wine nga badimandinga regime eno ete Eri Mutwe, because all we can do is to continue demand for his release. Ekisingira ddala obukulu.
Hello, Karamachi. Why don't you take it on from there? Please, Marvin, make Karamachi a speaker. The criminals, of course, are targeting all these places we're starting, but I believe we should be able to continue on this. Karamachi is up there. Just turn him into a speaker. Okay. Karamachi and Judith Nalukwa.
Manya gange zinantungoje zimama wa Mutwe sibufuywaji twinena tukaba lumwana wange.
Very well. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Karamachi, I see you're a speaker. Could you please take it on from there?
Can you hear me now? I'm speaking, David Lewis. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Very well. So we've lost. Shameless people have had us lose about 49 minutes out of the 90 that we had prepared to speak for. But we will nonetheless proceed in the spirit of citizen power or people power and make sure that this conversation is held, come hell or high waters. We will proceed with this conversation. I'd like to appreciate the resilience of our production team and you in the audience who have insisted to listen and join each space that we've held despite the disruptions. So instead of reverting to the conversation that we had earlier, I will give a summary in 1 minute. I will endeavor to be under 1 minute of what has been discussed in the previous attempts. And then we will get the rest of the questions that are pending posed and open the floor for the audience to join. As I said earlier, each speaker, each participant will have just 1 minute to share their thoughts, and then we'll get back to the panel. So we started off by asking what the human rights situation in the country is at the moment, and we got an update about the ongoing spate of abductions, the assaults, the disappearances, and extrajudicial killings. None of this is breaking news. It is always in our faces on social, mainstream, and print media. We very well know about this. And that answer was given by Honorable Chagulanyi. We then heard a response from David Lewis Rubongoya regarding the numbers in terms of the abductees, the detainees, torture victims, the disappeared, and the dead. Cumulatively, those numbers amounted to over 2,000 people, with the timeline starting or stretching as far back as 2020. We have a number of people who have been detained both in gazetted and ungazetted locations without trial. We also have a legal team that has been handling these issues. And as I now invite one of the lead lawyers in this matter, Benjamin Katana, to give us a brief on what has been happening on the legal front, I request that he be made a speaker. We will also thereafter hear from family members, affected family members, as well as individuals who have borne the brunt of being held in torture chambers without trial, but fortunately have been released, albeit with grave injuries to themselves. So may we have Benjamin Katana address us on the issue pertaining to the legal front, what has gone on there. And after we hear from the affected family members or individuals, we will open the space to the public. Over to you.
If you will permit,
yes.
If I may ask, if I may request.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for permitting my interjection. Just before the criminals interrupted our network, you had asked me to reiterate my answer, since many people did not get to hear me. So with your permission, I could use just a minute or two.
Perfectly. Please use 3.
Thank you very much. Well, just to reassert it that we are without a doubt in a reign of terror. Leave alone what has been happening under closed doors and in concealment, where so many people have been abducted, killed. But this, at least, the regime has had the decency to conceal it. And you can give it to General Museveni. But what we have is a fully blown out reign of terror, where General Museveni's son has absolute unchecked powers to abduct, torture, and kill people. This happened to the likes of Kakwenza and others. It happened to so many people that were personally tortured by Mohozi, but there was no, acceptance by himself that is the one who did it. But we are in a time where he tortures our people and brags. Case in point is the ongoing torture of Eddie Mutwe, who is abducted. We used to hear that Idi Amin and Obote regimes were gross human rights abusers, but this we are seeing in real time. As we speak right now, our brother could be undergoing torture if he's still alive. This is a situation that calls for the attention and action of every Ugandan. And I must conclude by saying that we are not approaching this matter as the National Unity Platform alone, but as human beings, as Ugandans, because every Ugandan is at risk of this. I thought I should make it very clear. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Very well said, Honorable Chagulanyi. Thank you for that update. I wonder whether Lewis might have anything to add in that respect to the articulate brief that the president has made before we hear from Benjamin Katana. I request the production team once again to make Benjamin Katana a speaker so that we can hear from what has been going on the legal front.
Yeah, Comrade Karamaji, I'm failing to identify Comrade Katana. If you could request, that would be really good. Thank you.
Okay, Benjamin, if you can hear, please push the request button and my colleague in production will help put you up. Is my co-host, Dr. Judith Nalukwago, here? If she is...
Yes, I am here.
Great, good to have you. So, okay. Benjamin has requested, please allow him. Okay, go ahead, Benjamin. What has happened on the legal front? Have we exhausted all options? What's the state of play? Over to you, Mr. Katana.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you very much, everyone who has joined this space, the solidarity space, with our brother, Eddie Mutwe, who is in illegal detention and probably undergoing a lot of torture, just like the pictures we have seen suggest. We the starting point is that we are dealing with a government that has descended into a criminal enterprise, and therefore rule of law is a far cry. We have had court orders ignored. The other day, the Human Rights Commission issued a release order in respect to our detained brother Ed Mutwe, but to date it has been ignored by the army and particularly the Chief of Defense Forces, who has confessed as having him in his basement. Similarly, we have had so many court orders, habeas corpus orders, unconditional release orders ignored. Our approach has been that the only solution to oppression is resistance. And while I have been asked to speak as a lawyer, I would want to emphasize generally that this is not in respect to lawyers, but to everyone that is involved in this fight for the restoration of rule of law in our country. That 50 years ago, at the height of the operations of State Research Bureau and other agencies, Ugandans sat in different rooms to discuss how to resist and overcome a brutal and killer regime that the regime of the day had become. Today we are meeting here, and probably we should meet in several other places to make sure that we all put in effort to make sure that we bring an end to this brutal rule. So our approach has been to use the spaces available in courts of law and other agencies. In the case of Ed Mutwe, we have filed a writ of habeas corpus. We are yet to get the order from court, just like we have filed for several other people. The Secretary General talked about the case of Masereka, but they talked about the case of the missing persons, talked about the various people who were abducted during the 2021 presidential elections, and several other Ugandans that have been illegally arrested, abducted, and detained since around 2019. Our approach has been to make sure that for every person whose information comes to our attention, we file applications in court for habeas corpus, for unconditional release, and things of that nature. Many times we have had cases drag on. Many times we have had cases not being fixed. Many times we have had court orders given and ignored, especially by the security forces, which is not strange considering the criminal enterprise that we are dealing with that the NRM government has become. My call to the people on this space is that we must organize. Those who are able to go to court like we are doing should go to court. Those who are able to organize in their different places of operation must organize, that we build pressure, disempower the regime, so that it can give in to the demands of the people of Uganda. The courts of law we are doing, there are even efforts at international level. You remember the complaint we filed with the ICC and several others. So yes, the legal approaches, the approaches that are aimed at getting legal solutions are being undertaken, but these must be supplemented by political activism that will build the necessary pressure on the regime to even let the institutions like courts and Uganda Human Rights Commission and others that we have mentioned to be able to exercise their mandate under the Constitution to give orders, but even when these orders have been given, to give them life, because it's one thing to have orders from courts of law, it's another for these orders to be meaningful. What does it help if a person being detained, even when an order is issued, this person, the order is ignored, the person remains in detention, the family has no idea where this person is, and then you have a court order. It more or less becomes useless. So we must be able to build sufficient pressure from wherever we are standing so that the regime can let these institutions be independent, exercise their mandate. When they issue orders, let these orders be respected so that the rights of the citizens of Uganda can be respected regardless of where they stand politically.
Great. We appreciate you, Benjamin, for that elaborate update. And I thank you also I take note of you saying that this is beyond just a legal question. It is political. It requires the participation of citizens, even beyond what the laws and court processes come with. At this point, we'd like to put a human face to this discussion that we're having, and I will request in the following order, Shifra, who is with Eddie Mutwe's mother, to give her the mic so that she can share with us about the ordeal that the family is going through. We will then hear from Kavuma Jamshid, who is a previous victim of torture, who underwent a very grisly ordeal that was subjected to him. And then we'll hear from Judith, who's the wife to Damulira, who has been missing since 2020. We will also hear from Ajmaru, who is with the mother of Kasim Sebude, who was detained alongside Eddie Mutwe. So the first person we'd like to call and request our colleagues in production is Shifra, who is here. Please make Shifra a speaker so that we can hear from Eddie Mutwe's mother. And for the benefit of, do we have Shifra here?
Yeah, she's there. I'm trying to connect her, but...
Are you physically proximate with her? Are you where she is?
No, I'm not where she is. I'm trying to connect her account.
No, Shifra has requested to be a speaker, so they should just allow her. Shifra Lukundo. She has already requested to be a speaker.
Okay. There's thousands of requests, so I hope the production can sift through and find Shifra. As soon as that happens.
Okay, she is a speaker now.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Shifra. Yes.
I'm with Eddie Mutwe's mother, but she's requesting that she speaks in Luganda.
It's okay. Mama, webale nnyo okujja kulukuŋŋaana luno. Tunyolwa wamu naawe era bw'olaba abantu abali ku lukuŋŋaana buno bali mu nkumi na nkumi z'abantu abali mu Uganda ne mu nsi endala. Twagala okuwulira kiki kye muyiseemu nga family ya munnaffe mukulu Edward Sebufu era nekyoyagala abannayuganda n'abalala batuuliza bategeere ebiruubirirwa byo ngeri gy'olaba embeera gye tulimu ffenna nga bannayuganda naddala mmwe ab'enju ya Sebufu Eddie. Maama tukwaniriza, genda mu maaso.
Kale Sebu niyanzizza mwenna abali ku mukutu guno. Okuva Eddie bwe yakwatibwa 27 weeks 2 ng'emabega nali ku kitanda nga ndi mulwadde era nga yanzijanjaba n'abaana bange abamu. Then nali naakamala okutereeramu katono nd'okuwulira omwana wange omu nankubira essimu nambuza ekiro nambuuza maama oli bulungi? Nze ndi bulungi. Obulwadde buli butya? Kunze waliwo eddagala lyenjagala lyessiina. Enkya tujja kujja tuligule. Yali agenda kumbuulira kulaba oba nina kyemmanyi. In fact nali siina kyemmanyi. Kati bwe nakeera ku makya ngenda okuteekako kiti ngenda okugenda ku Facebook nga ndaba Lumbu yayogera agamba Eddie Mutwe yawambiddwa nga ndowooza oba bya bulimba. Nenziramu nensoma nenda okubikula buli wamu omutima ne gunzigwamu. Nkubira omwana wange nemugamba Martha wabadde oyagala kuŋŋamba bya Eddie. Naŋŋamba ye maama naye nadde saagala kutiisa nga njagala osooke weebaka okere ku makya otegeere nga pressure erinza okulinnya. In fact era yalinnya. Naye tusaba omwami muhoozi alina omwana wange atuwa omwana waffe tumwagala n'abalala bonna abasibiddwa abatalina musango. Tufune obwenkanya at least kala amutwale mu kkooti bw'aba alina kye yakola oba omusango gwonna bamuvunaane tumanye nti ali mu kkomera gindi tusobola omulabako. Naye tetumulabako opostinze ali bwereere tayambadde kumuswaza mu baana be n'ensi yonna okumulaba nti egimu twafaanana bw'atyo. Musajja yali alabika obulungi. Era tusaba n'obwombeefu bungi batuwa omwana waffe. Embeera gye tulimu si nnungi. Abaana jjukira mami ddaji waabwe yabadde maama ye taata. Yanoonya ekyokulya. Nange nze kennyini mmaze ebbanga kati weeks ziringa 3 sikola. Era yabadde ambeererawo okusinga. Bwekubira maama olyokya maama kutiti maama najja n'akulambula buli lwava okukola. Ati simulabako. Ne weebaka n'obuuza oba alidde oba talidde oba amukuba oba bakola ki. N'abaana tuli wano ffenna tunyolwa buli mwana buli lwajja ewaffe n'obatunuulira nga bonna beeyonziseemu kye banange nga sirina kyabbagamba. Tunyolerwa wamu ffenna gavumenti tusaba ota abaana baffe abazadde tukaaba. Si nze nzekka n'abalala waliwo abaafa waliwo abatamanyiddwa gye bali abalala bali mu kutulugunyizibwa tebalina misango. Ensi erigamba eti abantu abo abaana baabwe abaana b'abantu bano bali kulaba ati ne babagamba nti omulembe guno gwe gwatta kitaawo oba gwe gwatulugunya taatawo oba gwe gwamugyamu eriiso oba gwe gwamumenya emikono oba amagulu. Tuli tugamba tutya abaana era abaana bagenda kukula batya nga katulinawo wano abaana aba edi kale ngezezza ku bange batunula bawulira nga twogera bino bagamba ye omulembe guno gwe gukola gwe gwatulugunya taata waffe n'abaana abalala bwe batyo. Ensi esaasira abantu tunyolwa tukaaba bata omwana waffe.
Webale nnyo mami okwogera n'obuvumu obwo era byogedde byonna wano tulaba nga abantu bakkaanya naawe. For the benefit of those who are not fluent or conversant with Luganda, there are 5 bullet points that Mr. Eddie Sebufu's mom has made, which is 1, she got the news as she was recovering from an illness and has been disturbed throughout. Her blood pressure shot up, and she's also imploring the authorities, specifically General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who has openly confessed to detaining Mr. Sebufu in an ungazetted location to have him arraigned in court if at all there is a charge for which there's any crime for which he is being held. She's also called that for all political detainees or prisoners to be released beyond just the fact of her son. She is distraught about the way in which he has been treated, the humiliating pictures that have been shared, the obvious mistreatment that he's been subjected to. She can't stop thinking about his situation and how he's doing, whether he's eaten, whether he's slept well, and all that. And finally, she notes with grave concern about how these children will grow up in a kind of world that is a complete opposite of what they've otherwise grown up to know. So next, we will hear from Kavuma Jamshid, who's also a previous victim, and I request production to have him up. And in the interest of time, as you make Kavuma Jamshid a speaker, also do that for Judith, Damira's wife. Yes, and then Kasim Sebude's mother will also speak to us before we come to the rest of the audience. So I'm requesting our colleagues in the back room to give the mic to Kavuma Jamshid. Yes, he's requested. His handle is, I believe that's
at Jamshid Kavuma.
Yes.
I've sent him a request. I don't know whether he's seen it.
Jamshid Kavuma, please accept the request and speak to us. Okay, as Kavuma Jamshid does that, have you also sent a request to Judith?
No, she's not called Judith, but she's my neighbor, so I've sent the request. I think they will get in. It's Muchala Damulira. The husband disappeared in 2020. Up to now, he's never been seen. He was abducted, and she's going to speak through the account of Kakande Chirumira.
Okay, Kakande Chirumira. Yes, you have the.
So he's already on. I don't know whether I can start.
Yes, I can see Kakande Chirumira. I can also see Kavuma Jamshid. Let's hear from Kakande Chirumira, and then we will proceed to hear from Jamshid. Kakande, over to you. Feel free to use, as the previous speaker has, to use a language of your convenience. Go ahead, Kakande. Kakande, over to you.
Kakande, please unmute. I think you're muted.
Okay, he has unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay, now you can speak.
Nange nsangiddwa mu buzibu bw'okubanga abantu abo batuwambirwa abantu baffe. Batuwambira abantu baffe. Naffe tusangiddwa nga naffe tulina obulumi.
Genda mu maaso.
Tusangiddwa nga tulina obulumi nga bw'owulya nti obulumi okutuwambiranga abantu baffe ate ne bamala ne babeegaana abantu baffe. Nze mukyala Damulira nina obuzibu bwe nasanga okubaleba bwanga bbaawa.
Nyabo tukuwulira, genda mu maaso okutuyogera ku bawamba bbaawo.
Obuzibu bwange bwe nasanga okubaleba bawamba bbaawange Damulira John esalaama mukyala wenze njogera. Naye mpise mu bulumi obutajja kugamba nti kino nakiri. Naye twebuuza abantu baffe bawambanga baaki? Naye ng'owamba omuntu.
Mama mukyala Damulira wali tunyonyodde kyekyaliyo bawe bamusanga bamutwala ddi n'ebirala.
Mukyala Damulira John bamujja wa Kisekka ku dduuka lye ne bamutwala 2022. Emyaka 5 gigenda kuwera nga 21 Novemba. Omusajja okuva le bamutwala 2020.
So si 2020.
Kati okuva le batwala Damulira ogwo omwaka gwe bamutwala mpaka olwaleero tetuddangamu kulaba Damulira. Tutuuse mu makooti, tutuuse mu makooti ag'enjawulo, mu makomera batugamba talabikako. Kyokka ate nga Museveni oyo gw'olaba yasoma Damulira n'agamba nti amuyina, ate bwe yamala yamwegaana, ate ne bamala ne bavunika fayiro zaffe butambuza tebatubulya amazima g'ekiki ekituufu bakimanyi. Naye Museveni abantu baffe abatwala wa? Lwaki atubonyaabonya okutuuka ku kino? Musajja n'akuleka ddala otwala omuntu ng'omumanyi tinaye gw'otutte olawuza olumizza bameka? Olumizza famire omuntu omu oyo gw'olaba yeebadde empagi ya famire yonna. Abaana be, maama we, n'abalala. N'embeera gye tuyitamu. Nze mukyala Damulira nina embeera gye mpitamu lwakuba nze nawulira nga sikyalina na bigambo bye njagala nakwogera kuba byanzigwako. Naye Museveni twakola ki? Abalala n'ogamba abantu 18 wabeegaana musajja gwe watutambuza paka. Tobayina ate obayina ate sibayina ate biki? kati tukole tutuukirewo okutuuka ku kino. Makomera tebaliyo ate gwe abatwala abasirikale bwe batwala abantu bali temutukyase ne mutuwa abantu baffe naffe tuva mu nnaku eno. N'abatuuka kubanga abaana bo bakusaba taata wammwe taata kati nafuuka mama ne taata lwaki mbeera mu eyo embeera bwe mumanyi kyempitamu naye olw'okuba ofuluma mu nju ne bagamba nti ogenze naye nga nekyogenda okunoonya tokimanyi naye nga abaana bo abamu batudde waka tebasoma ate n'okunanga kyekyo kulwala bikoze bitya lwaki Museveni otubonyaabonya lwaki tutuwa abantu baffe musajja gwe tukwegayiridde tukaabye biweddeyo nagasangula naye ngajjako sikyalina gansangula okuleka gwe ng'okutte ku makya n'ogamba mukazi gwe nkwadde abantu maama w'omusajja oyo Damulira yalekeraawo okwogera ayogera ekintu kimu omwana wange omwana waki omukuntusa kweyo embeera nawe gwe musajja gwe tozaalanga toyina abantu toyina bazzukulu kiki otubonyaabonya okutuuka ku mbeera bweki musajja gwe Museveni tuyambe tuwa abantu baffe naye ng'okimanyi wafukamira ku makya nga maama wakuzaala nakuteeka ebweru kiki kyetwakola ekyo tutaasira abaana bo ne bakoma ne bakulisaayo kyokka nga bakulisira nakava tekalimu yadde emitwalo ekintu kyesiringi omutwalo ebintu tebataddemu omugaati naye gwe musajja gwe tusaasire tukwegayiridde buno obulumi kubanga tulinga abazaala essaawa zino abali mu makomera bate n'abawambibwa bajjeeyo ate era nkwegayiridde abatalina musango bantu bajje mu makomera baleete mu kooti bawozebwe naye nga mukazi wa ddala yasindika abaana bakuze ne taata naye gwe oyina eddala ekisa musajja gwe kitotusaasira tuyita mu bulumi lwakuba totumanyi bwe tuli bubi kubanga sigwe Katonda Katonda yateekawo abantu babiri n'agamba nti kibaawukanya kuba kufa naye ate gwe watwawukanya sigwe Katonda tetwajja kuteeba nti gwogere twawukanya kuba tutwagattibwa nga tumanyi nti munnange agenze naye n'amala lugambula nina balaga ki n'amala lusigalina nange bwe nalindaga nti gati wonna mutambuddewo nange nti okunteekawo obumu tulwala tumunyabonyezebwa naye bannange Museveni nkwegayiridde taata tuwa abantu baffe tusaba abali mu makomera munnange bate kale bo babalabako naye nabo bate bajje bawuzibwe nyefe ababuzibwawo emyaka 5 ddala omuntu wa muno
Mama tunyolwa wamu naawe n'abaana bo olw'okubuzibwawo okwa baawo mwami Damulira John era ndowooza abantu bonna bawulidde era tusuubira ne buno obubaka bujja kutuuka kwabo bekikwatako. Again, for the benefit of those who might not comprehend Luganda, this is John Damulira's wife. As you can probably tell, she is disconsolate and she has talked about the situation in which she's going through, including the fact that she is completely, going through indescribable heartache. She has to play the role of mother and father because her husband has been missing for close to 5 years now, having been picked up from his shop in Kampala and has never been seen again. She doesn't know anymore what to say or what answers to give to her children when they ask about their father. She's also said, rather concerningly, that one of her children has been affected by the withdrawal syndrome. That child only speaks a word or two and that's it, and does not talk. This withdrawal having been brought on by the disappearance of the father for close to 5 years now. Next, we have Kavuma Jamshid to share his personal experience as an abductee who was fortunate enough to make it out alive from the dungeons of the torture chambers, such as where Eddie Mutwe is being held. Jamshid, if you are here, please accept the mic and share with us. Jamshid Kavuma. Okay, go ahead. I see you. Please share. And like the others, feel free to speak in a language of your convenience.
Okay. Bannange oba mumpulira
Stable tukuwulira genda maaso tukulya bulungi nnyo.
tukuwulira sewa.
Genda maaso stable tukuwulira.
Network entawaanya. Bannange neyanziza omukisa guno okunteekako wano sijja kwogera Luzungu kuba erinnya linnuma yinza okugira. So kanjogere mu Luganda lwentegeero.
Oh dear. We have challenge with Jamshid because he keeps coming on and going off. So I will line up as we wait for him to sort that glitch out. I will now ask Ajmaru, who is with the mother of Kasim Sepude, who was arrested alongside Eddie Mutwe. So Ajmaru, if you are here, to my co-host, Dr. Nalukwago, do you...
I've tried to look for his hand, or I can't see it.
Okay, in that case...
I've looked for Ajmal's hand, I can't see it. So I think probably if he's on, he can send a request, then I let him speak.
Ajmaru, if you are here, please send a request to speak and you will be allowed to do so. Okay, while we wait for Ajmaru to share, because those two will be the last people to speak before we hear from the audience, members of the audience. And as we get ready to do that, production is already... okay, Kavuma, you are here? Katusaba oyitemu bwangu otuuse obubaka. Oh dear. Okay. For Jamshid, just so that his story is not lost in the weeds of this network challenge, I will request Benjamin, if he's still here, to share Jamshid's audio in a minute so that we afford him the audience that he deserves. And then we will open the floor to the audience to share. Benjamin, if you may.
He seems muted.
Yeah, Benjamin, if you're speaking, you are muted.
Yes.
Please.
Yes, Andrew.
Yeah, we have, Jamshid is having network connection issues. So as counsel, who I'm sure have handled this file amongst the numerous others that you've handled, you could give us a brief on Jamshid's ordeal. Thank you.
Yeah. Jamshid was brutally arrested and in fact shot in the leg at the time of arrest. He was held incommunicado for a number of days. Jamshid was brutally arrested and in fact shot in the leg at the time of arrest. He was held incommunicado at the time of arrest, and we applied for habeas corpus, but when the state was served, they produced him in court and charged him with malicious damage to the vehicle that the security personnel who came to arrest him were moving in. And the question, of course, was before the arrest, which offense had he committed? Because the offense with which he was charged, the allegation was that he committed it at the time they were trying to arrest him. Eventually, they did not pursue the case like it has been with the rest. And to give this proper context is that most of our people, most of our colleagues have been arrested on trumped up charges. The held for a number of days, eventually produced in court sometimes. And when they get bail, the matter never comes up for trial. 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road. Why? Because the state has no evidence and they are just holding them on trumped up charges, basically for purposes of persecuting them. And Kavumaja Mshidi's case is one of such cases of fabricated charges.
Sure. Thank you so much for that brief. Were we able to get the final speaker on the panel so that he can share as well? Kasim Sebude's mother, who is with Ajmaru. If you are here, please either request and then we can hear from you and move to the audience. We will select speakers, but before we do that, please note that you have exactly a minute. We have, yes, please, my colleague in production, go ahead.
No,
I cannot see Ajmal's.
Yes, the producer. What?
Oh, sorry, I was just saying I cannot see the. Oh. I was saying I cannot see the hand. Also, I think we can go to the audience because I can't find the hand of Ajmal. I failed to get it, and he's also not sending a request to communicate with him.
Okay, this space has 7,507 people right now. My colleague, my co-host, will choose speakers from the audience, and I invite her to do so. But before that, I see a hand from our colleague in the back room. You have something to say?
No, you've opened up to the public, so I had a couple of questions. I don't know if I can go first for the 1 minute.
Or that were written to you, or your own questions?
My own questions.
Okay, great. Since you are in production, we will hear from you. Let's first have the rest of the audience share, and then we will come to you in production. I hope that's fine. Okay. Dr. Judith Nalukwago, please choose speakers. Sasi, you're saying something?
Yeah. I was saying I'm seeing Jamshid back online. I know he has just disappeared, but he had briefly returned online. I also wanted to supplement on what Councillor Katana was saying earlier. Jamshid, for many who don't know, was actually at the scene when they were abducting Eddie Mutwe last Sunday. And he was, I thought he was going to come and give us a brief of what transpired that fateful evening. He might have given us a description of some of the faces that he saw. And one of those faces is a bulky gentleman. No offense meant. Is one of the bulky gentlemen that keeps following our president everywhere he goes, at home, at the headquarters in Kavule, and literally everywhere. So it's quite unfortunate that Jamshid is not here, but let me see if I can reach out to him. So what the issue is.
Actually, if it helps, I was just talking to Jamshid a while ago, and I could call him and ask him to speak through my phone so he can be able to communicate with the rest of the masses here.
Sure, please.
Okay. Allow me just a minute.
Okay, as Dr. Nalukwago lines up her choice of speakers, we have allocated 20 minutes to this slot, and if all of us stick to the 1 minute rule, we will be able to put in as many people, probably even more than 20, since we are using a minute each. Honorable Chagulanyi, is Jamshid ready to talk? Yes.
Jamshid now.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Jamshid kwoli ku line. Era abayiriza bulungi nnyo ssebo.
Kale kangende maaso. Bannange baganda bange mwenna abali wano mwebale kubeerawo, mwebale kukuŋŋaana mu bungi w'emuti ku nsonga y'abaganda baffe abawambibwa ne muganda waffe Eddie Mutwe, kuba eno ensonga evomeddwamu omutwe nga ya Eddie Mutwe. mainly. Kasooke ndowooza ntandikire ku nsonga zange nganze we nawambibwa ennaku z'omwezi nga 5 ogw'Okwakumi 2022. Nasangibwa Masanafu ku kifo bakiyita Gladiator Paradise. Abasajja we banzija najjira mu drone yali taxi. Wabula tetwali tumanyi nti taxi eya bulijjo ng'erimu ebikubo bya taxi byennyini ng'eriko n'akatanda waggulu. Kati abasajja abo we bajja okunkamba like nagezaako okudduka kati bwe nali nziruka bwe ne bamukuba essasi mu kugulu baali baagala kummenya kugulu wabula okugulu tebaakola ki tebaakumenya so baamala okunkuba essasi ne bansika ne banteeka mu drone omusaayi nga guyiika mungi nga bansibye empingu ne baŋŋamba nti nyambulemu essaati ng'olwedde ndi ku mpingu nga ndi ku handicrafts nzijemu essaati ate gye mbansiba ku kugulu kati nga neebuuza essaati ngenda gijjamu ntya ng'ate olwedde ndi ku mpingu ndyoka ate ngisibe ku kugulu. Waliwo awo omu n'asumulula empingu nenzijjamu essaati nengisiba ku kugulu omusaayi guleme kuyiika mungi so awo ne batuleeza awo waliwo ne bannange be bantwala nabo balinga 3 kati batuvuga mu drone ekiro ekyo tegeera na gye tulaga naye wabula we twali tugenda buli we twali tugenda tuyimirira to cut the story short nga bantuusa ku Sseemwayi Embuya wadde nali simanyiyo obudde obwo wabula we bantwalayo ne banteeka mu godown wansi eyo we banteeka mu godown okirira amadaala bwoti eno waggulu omuntu akuumayo aba n'emmundu ng'agitunuzza wansi kati mu godown bw'oba okkirira kuliko akuuma bwe kati kaliko empingu zisinge layini kati ez'empingu abantu abasinga like we bakutuusa ng'oli mulamu nga tolinga nze abakubiddwa essasi mu kugulu oba ng'osobola okuyimirira obulungi basobola okusiba ku mpingu ezo n'obeerako ennaku nga 3 emisana n'ekiro we kuba kufuka ofuka awo ebbaketi bagikuleetera awo ofuka okulya emmere ogiriisa mimwa esiwaani bagikwata bukwasi n'oliisa emimwa ng'oli ku mpingu waggulu ne kakati baŋŋamba waliwo n'omuntu omu eyafiirako kweza empingu kati nga bannyingiza eyo munda mu basement bwe nayingira mu basement eyo mu godown waliyo abasibe bo gye bali bangi naye mainly kye nasinga okulaba waliyo abasiraamu bo bangi bulala oyinza okugamba eri muzikiti eno gavumenti simanyi lwaki ewalana nnyo abasiraamu ewala n'obusiraamu ndowooza n'abaganda mwe babatwalira kubanga ate oba musiraamu ng'oli muganda kisukka kuba nali ndi awo nga naakamalayo ndowooza ennaku nga 3 ne wabaawo omusiraamu akolera awo Katwe ku ttaawo awo ettaawo eri wansi abantu gye batera okuyita yali atundira awo obuntu buno bucakala nga mutembeeyi ne bamuleeta nga talina musango gwonna kati bamutuusa eri bamubuuza ebibuuzo nga buli kye bamubuuza takimanyi ne bamugamba muyeekera baakuba musiraamu emiggo mbigere yagenda okudda nga takyasobola kulinnya nga yeekulula bwekuluzi ng'atambuza kabini bali bakuba kubanga ate bakyusaamu mu nkuba tebakyakuba bino bye mulaba ng'ebyakakwensa bye baamukuba kubanga bwe bakukuba ebintu ng'ebyo baba bakutereka obeereyo ebbanga paka lw'obeera ng'atereddemu kubanga nange banteeka mu Sseemwayi naye nga babataddeko akazito kangi nga bawulira baagala okunta okunzijayo naye nga baŋŋamba weerwaneko okugulu okwo ekiwundu ekyo kikole kiwone tebaagala kuleeta muntu yenna ng'aliko ki obuvune okumuta okumutisa ebweru so nga mbeera eyo bwe bannangira bye basinga okukozesa bye bakubisa bakugamba gwe kaakati oli wano mugamba mulwanirira ggwanga gwe mulwanirira ali eri n'abaana be beeyagala olwo nga bagamba pulezidenti kati ate olumala nga bagamba nti oyo gwe mulwanirira ali kimu naffe kati n'obabuuza nti ate waaba kimu nammwe bw'aba ali nammwe nga mukola naye lwaki mubeera ate ffe mutukwata ffe abaagala kyali wammwe kyemugamba kyali wammwe temumwagaliza kubeera bulungi kubanga kyali wammwe kuba ffe we tumubaako tuba tulina omumuvimbisa era tumwagale nga bwe mwalikoze eki bwe mwali kyagadde kitegeeza we twagala kyali wammwe nammwe tuba tukoze eki tuba tubaagadde naye munnange ng'ekyo emiggo kiba givuga eri bakuba emiggo wabaawo eja breakfast lunch ne supper buli omu obudde bwe bwakubirwako emiggo era omuggo gunyooka ku sseemwayo eyo era bwe nalabye ekifaananyi kya Eddie Mutwe nga kifulumye nalabye yenna nga bamukubye yenna wulubadde simanyi oba bamukubisizza biki kuba eyo feesi ya Eddie Mutwe tefaanana bwetyo oli muganda wange mumanyi naye bamugyeyo yenna wulubadde bwati ne mmanya kati ekiri eyo si kyangu bongere kumusabira bongere n'okusabira abalala abali mu sseemwayo eyo nga naye ekiriyo si kirungi n'akamu ekibeera eyo abasajja batulugunya ebyaddala siriyasi.
Maybe Jamshid wandyagadde obapaintingira ku kifaananyi ku nkwata Eddie Mutwe gye baamukwata engeri gye waliwo. Apologies, moderator.
That's fine, Honorable. Go. Jamshid genda maaso tubuulire kuba waliwo nga bakwata nga bawamba Eddie Mutwe.
Olunaku olwo twali tugenze ku hakiika mu busiraamu ogwo omukolo guba gwa kusalira mwana buli mwana mu busiraamu bamusalira omuwala bamusalira embuzi emu omulenzi bamusalira embuzi ebbiri waliwo mukyali waffe oba mukwano gwaffe gwe tukuuma naye pulezidenti bamuyita Isima yatuyita ku mukolo ogwo ne tugenda tubeewo ng'abajulizi ku mukolo ng'asalira omwana we era naliyo nze Eddie Mutwe Isima Swale gundi Honorable Namboze Waiswa Mufumbiro Honorable Waiswa Mufumbiro bonna baaliyo n'abo abaana b'emukono baaliyo so kakati omukolo tukutambuza omukolo guwedde ssaawa ng'emu kawungeezi buli omu kati ayamuka kudda waka tuba tutambula tukyali awo mu lujja tunyumyanyumyamu abamu batambula bambuka kati abamu baba batambula bambuka ku kkubo Eddie Mutwe emmotoka ye yali agipaakinze ku kkubo ndowooza yali addayo kulinnya mmotoka ye kati tugenda okulaba abaana bakkirira emisinde bakkirira eri wansi ku maka goono alinga ali ku lusozi kati bokkirira wali abantu kati engeri gye tulina sirikale ba bulijjo tugamba kati fe abatalina musango batukwatira ki kubanga okukola pate mu makaago si musango netugamba namwe temutotiisatiisa ebyo bye muliko byakusaaga kati tusigalawo ffe twali tusigadde awo tuyimiridde kati noonya ngamba Eddie oba aliwa manyi oba akyali wali ewa Isimu kumbe gye yayambuse kati tuba tukyali awo tugenda okulaba drone ejja yasala omulundi gumu kuba bwe twali tewaali wala n'ekkubo yasala omulundi gumu ng'erimu amataala gaaka nnyo we yagenda n'esiba omulundi gumu nedda reverse neggala akakubo akaali kakkirira ku maka ga Isimu kati we yaggala akakubo ako ffe ne tudduka nga tukkirira ku kisaalu wansi kumbe ye Eddie yabadde ayambuka ku mmotoka kati mu kwambuka ku mmotoka bagenda balaba drone ezo nga zizze kuba drone zaali 3 nga waliwo ne double cabin n'akamotoka akatono ndowooza ke kalimu oyo omwami so kati gundi Eddie Mutwe abadduka abulawo n'abo abalenzi be yali nabo okuli oyo Sebudde Kasimu gwe tuyita Kunta mwana weeyo mukono waliwo n'omulala bamuyita Fred ndowooza n'oyo omulala gwe bamukwata balinga 4 kati baba bagenda weebati nga wabaawo omuntu omu ayita nti Eddie Mutwe nga badduka nabo kati oyo yayita Eddie Mutwe yaleetera Eddie Mutwe obuzibu we yamuyita abasirikale ne bamanya nti Eddie akola ki ali eri ne bagenda ne bazikookingirawo emmundu okimanyi bwe bazikookinga baba baagala kumutta musajja wattu naye nakkakkana ne bamutwala naye tebamutwala bulungi bamutwalira ddala mu mbeera embi kati ffe olwo tudduse tukkiridde ku kisaalu era we natuukayo ku kisaalu nasooka nenkubira pulezidenti essimu naye ndowooza yali bize teyasobola nenkubira maama nemutegeeza nti Eddie Mutwe bamulidde kati tukeeyo ku kisaalu twamalayo ndowooza essaawa nga 2 tumala tukomawo nga abasajja bambuse tutuuka mu maka mukyala wa Isima yali yasigaddewo n'abazadde baali basigaddewo mu maka kati we tudda nga omukyala atusigira ekifaananyi ng'atugamba waliwo omusajja azze wano abadde munene alina ekirevu ayambadde topi ya black n'ebyambalo byayambadde bya black naye ye nga tali mu uniform ali muleeya nga munenenene bwati era nze nakimanyirawo nti oyo muhumuza kubanga ye yali akola ki yatumanyi ffenna atumanyi kuba tutambulyako nti muhumuza yatuuka ku maka ga Isima n'ababuuza kati nasooka ayimiriza gano amagye ge yali atambula nago agamuli emabega abo abaali mu uniform n'abagamba simama kati ye n'abeera ng'ayingira mu nnyumba n'alingizaayo bw'ati agenda okulingizaayo ndowooza yali akimye effengolo gye baamulidde edda ndowooza yali alowooza naffe tukyaliwo so kati bwe yabagamba simama n'alingizaayo n'amala ne beetooloola awo ennyumba ne bamala ne batambula ne badda mu mmotoka zaabwe ne bakola ki ne bagenda naye nga missoni eyaliwo naffe ndowooza baali baagala otutwalira abo Katonda yataasa butaasa awo we twawonera ffe bwekityo bwe kyali.
Thank you, Chagulanyi, for your innovation in calling him and having him get on as he had a network issue. We appreciate him sharing as much. Again, this is the final speaker from the panel, and so I will briefly translate, and this time we'll go to the audience. Jamshid was abducted. He told us about his ordeal. He was abducted in what has now come to be known as a drone, which is usually a minivan. The minivans that have been reconditioned to suit the purposes of abduction, made many stops along the way until he was detained in a place that he later got to know as the dreaded and infamous or notorious Chieftaincy of Military Intelligence Detention Centers, which is a detention center, which is a dungeon. Many people have complained or talked about being held here. He gave us a description of the basement or the dungeon in which people are held, and said, if you've been brought in without any major injuries, you are immediately restrained using handcuffs and will spend up to 3 days on those restraints. Calls of nature are to be answered there. You will not be allowed to go somewhere to relieve yourself in a place of convenience. He also said some people have actually died there on those handcuffs. And also, quite disturbingly, that meals are delivered to you there. You have to eat using your mouth, like a dog or another animal would. You're not given the benefit of holding the food or picking it from a plate. The food is brought before you, and then you pick it up with your mouth in such humiliating conditions. He also noted that he observed a high number, disproportionately high number of Muslim detainees. Also talked about a man who was brought in without any particular charge, who was beaten terribly, and described one of the torture methods, which is hitting people under the feet. That is something that we repeatedly hear. He was hit under the feet, and that his own injury, his captors refused to release him until he got better, saying that they cannot release him with evident torture marks, as well as the bullet wound that he sustained when he was shot in the process of being abducted. It's a terrible ordeal that he went through, but that's essentially what he said. His final remarks were about how Eddie Mutwe was abducted, where they'd gone to attend an event for a child who was being named or some such social event. And that's when a drone, the one that I described earlier, came and out of which these armed operatives came, threatened them with guns and took Eddie Mutwe away. Finally, he makes mention of the presence of a notorious individual called Muhumuza, who is regularly seen trailing Honorable Chagulanyi and other party leaders and bodyguards of the leadership of the party. This gentleman was present at the scene and so evidently helped or at least took part in the process of abduction. Dr. Nalukwago, who is your first speaker from the audience? 1 minute.
I've given Dr. Morgan is going to be the first speaker, but strictly 1 minute. Once it clocks a minute, I switch you off. So be as brief as you can. In fact, time yourself. So unmute yourself, please.
I hope I use the 1 minute well. Greetings, everyone listening in. Mr. President, Honorable Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, fellow Ugandans that are listening in. I'm honored to speak to you on this virtual gathering. We are united in solidarity for our brother Edward Sebufu and all other victims of oppression in Uganda. Today we stand together not just for Eddie Mutwe, but for every Ugandan yearning for freedom, justice, and dignity from across the last 40 years. Edward Sebufu, who was abducted in Mukono by military men, is not an isolated act. It is part of the systematic campaign to silence, dissent, and crush the aspiration of we, the people of Uganda that are yearning for freedom. The chilling confirmation from Muhozi, the Nepo baby, boasting of how he's holding Eddie in his basement, is a mock of rule of law, a mock to the people of it is a mockery to the people of Uganda, and it continues to expose the brutality that we have faced for at least for the 30 years ago. But let me say this clearly. They can detain us. Nepo baby, you can detain Eddie, but you can't detain the spirit of change that lives in us. His fight breathes through us.
I think your minute is up, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Nalukwago, is that correct?
I didn't choose the minute, but okay. I'll land by reminding the people of Uganda, we know who our enemy is. Our enemy is not the Banyankule. Our enemy is not the Baganda. Our enemy, just like the president said the other day, is Muhozi and his power-drunk father. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Morgan. Dr. Nalukwago, your next speaker from the audience. Dr. Nalukwago, who else are you giving the mic? Okay, if she's having trouble, I will request a handle that goes by the name The Good Girl at Pliam. Please unmute and go ahead.
Hello, good evening. Andrew, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead. You have a minute.
Well, thank you for accepting me and thank you for the minute. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. President. Well, since I only have 1 minute, I'll just, send my question there to the president. I think we've cried long enough. I think so many of us here have cried every time these stories are repeated. We listen in and, our hearts are heavy and we feel like we've been on the lamentations for so long. So my question is, what is the next course of action? We need to know what we can do to help the situation because, recently the Uganda Human Rights Commission ordered for the release of Eddie. Everything was ignored. We've called, we've written, we've done everything that I think we've said whatever we have said for so long. I think it's time to do something more than just speaking, more than just, listening into people crying. We've cried long enough. So, Mr. President, what else can we do? What is the next course of action?
Great.
Me and so many others feel we should do something about this. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Great, thank you. I will now request Dr. Daniel Kawuma to share.
Yes, greetings, everyone. I recognize our president and our party leadership. On behalf of the diaspora, I greet you all, and I want to use this platform to also repeat the call for the president that what we want to hear now is action. Action, and every diaspora member who is on this platform, I re-echo those sentiments that we need to do our part as a diaspora and hit the streets wherever we are. In the diaspora, we have more liberties, more freedom of speech in many of the territories. So I call on all of you, let's hit the streets, let's demonstrate, let's petition, stakeholders to make sure that there's accountability for the regime. The question I have is probably the question many Ugandans have, and we have seen what our neighbors in Kenya have been able to do, where there seems to be more sensitization among the masses to draw the correlation between their plight, their suffering, and the leadership in power. I sense there's there are two things. One may be fear, two, comfort among the Ugandan populace, where we seem to be either we have resigned or we are just fearful. If you look at the elections, almost about the section of the voters who turn up is decreasing. We saw what happened in Kawempe. So what more can be done in Uganda to sensitize the masses to realize that there's more that needs to be done to remove Museveni? Because I feel there's some form of comfort among the young people, and of course even the elites. So when you make a call that let's demonstrate, let's put pressure on our representatives, members of parliament, is it more of an issue of lack of sensitization? Is it an issue of fear? What more can we do as people in the struggle, not just NUP, but people in FDC, ANT, and others, to make sure that we rally our troops together to dethrone Museveni? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kauma. Shamim Nambasa, you have requested. Dr. Shamim Nambasa, please accept the mic and go ahead. Okay, while that happens, Shamim Nambasa, are you there? Okay, if Shamim Nambasa is having challenges, Aiden Kalisa. Aiden Kalisa. Okay, my co-host should have her mic returned so that we can do this together. Okay, Shamim, there you are. Go ahead. Shamim, you have the floor. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Andrew. Can you confirm that you can hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can. You have a minute.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate everyone that is here. And Mr. President, good evening, and good evening to everyone. I just wanted to add my voice to what the good girl has said, Kavuma and everyone else. I think for a very long time, we have kept quiet, and then we see the dictator pushing us to the limits, but then we still do the same things over and over again. And it is very clear that it's only a fool that will do the same thing over and over, expecting different results. I'm not saying that we are fools, but I'm saying that maybe it is time for us to change the guard. It is time for us to actually try different means. I think, and what many people here are asking for is what is next? What are we going to do next? So I think it is time that we actually did leave the comfort zones and started to hit the streets. We have seen it when, we said we were marching to parliament, the state was on panic. I think if we did have a sustained fight of the sort, then it would be clear that maybe then we can start to have some answers. I think the level of disrespect that we've been pushed to such extents that they actually come to the secretariat, to our headquarters, and block our events from going on. So it is time for us to actually take action and leave the comfort zones. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. Justice Hunter, that's the name of the handle. Yes, you have a minute. Go ahead. Justice Hunter, the mic is yours. Go ahead.
Yes, thanks, Andrew, and everyone in this space who has shared the ordeal and the way and the status quo of the human rights temperature in Uganda. As Justice Hunter, I'm sick and tired of using the same talking points, because I think it is time for us to expedite our liberation from the captivity of this junta of despot Museveni. Because right now, Eddie Mutwe is counting on us not to be silent, but to act. So for me, I'm not going to ask a question, but I'm going to give a remedy. And this remedy can be done tomorrow. I implore our president, Kyagulanyi Robert Sentamu, to call on all the MPs of NUP, including the councillors, plus the leader of opposition, Joe Senyonyi. Tomorrow, make a team and march to CMY. This is going to be a wake-up call to all Ugandans to show them that these are the MPs who are willing and ready for the protest vote we're talking about. Because protest vote has 3 phases. There is the pre-protest vote, there is the during protest vote, and the post-protest vote. So right now we're talking about the pre-protest vote. So we want to see those leaders who are not just rhetorical, but who are action-oriented. So if Despot Museveni arrests all of you, trust me, the international community is going to act. But if they arrest one person, they will not act. So, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Robert Sentamu, can you call on all our leaders, the councillors, MPs, leader of opposition? Tomorrow, you guys go to the front line and march. They cannot kill all of you. They cannot arrest all of you. And once they do that, it is going to attract international, community, and they will stand with Ugandans. Otherwise, if we're doing business as usual, that's what Museveni, of course, this is what he wants. In the end, we're going to just
Thank you.
In jail.
Thank you, Justice. A handle that goes by the name Margaret Natabi Nava. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. You guys, when you're done speaking, sorry, Natabi, when you're done speaking, I'm going to remove you as a speaker so that we create space for other people. You can continue.
It's okay. Thank you so much, Karamaji. And Judith, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. President. My name is Natabi. Just like the rest of the speakers, I think the operators are even laughing at us at this moment because they've reached a level of stripping us naked, sharing our photos naked on media. And again, what we are doing is just speaking about it. Mr. President, last time I saw a post of you telling Ugandans the time, like course of action. I mean, we are just requesting, sir. We are just here ready. We are requesting, just come out and tell us, you know what, guys, we've given this government, it could be 10 hours, 24 hours, whatever. But beyond this, they've not released our people to the streets. Mr. President, sir, we are ready to do anything because they've done everything. We've looked back and they do everything. If they're capable of starting to share photos of people with families naked here on media, what more do we need before we get angry as Ugandans and we raise up to go and fight for our own justice? If we don't stand up and remain doing this, speaking here every day, every time, nothing is going to change. This government works on pressure. We've done protests and we've seen change. However much the change may not be that big, but let us go beyond speaking about it. Can you command us, please? And we go put it into action. Thank you so much.
Great. Anyama Alfred Berliner, you have the floor. 1 minute. Okay, if Berliner is not okay, go ahead, Berliner. Berliner is unable to speak. I will invite.
Okay. I think he's on. He's on.
Okay, go ahead. I think our brother is having a challenge. Dr. Nalokwago, my screen is crowded. Please choose someone to speak.
I'd chosen the Speaker of Nakawa.
Okay, what's
He had
his
raised
handle?
his hand. At Liombia, Godfrey. I don't know whether he's now able to speak, unmute and speak. Because he's a leader and we've had some people calling out leaders. What are they doing to rally the masses to fight for the rights of their fellow citizens? So I think it was right to give him an opportunity to tell us as a speaker of a whole area. Tell us something.
Sure, that's a direct question to you. Please tell us what you are doing. Please share his name again so that we can, the production can pick him.
It is at Godi Luyombia. Right Honorable Luyombia Godfrey, that's his handle. His username, but I think it's network issue.
Okay, while that happens, we could have Nandaula Helen. Nandaula Helen. Okay, Nandaula, you have the mic. Go ahead, please. 1 minute. And after Nandaula will be Mungadi. Nandaula, are you able to speak?
Yes.
Go ahead. 1 minute.
Thank you, Andrew, for the opportunity to speak. I would like to recognize the presence of our president and the party leadership and all other leaders and everybody that's on the call. What happened to Eddie Mutwe is a cycle that has, been happening to many of our colleagues. We've cried enough. We've suffered enough. And I think enough is enough. Mr. President, enough is enough. We are tired of being mocked. And our silence has enabled this, the junta to and his goons to be, to normalize the situation, to normalize torturing us and mocking us, the impunity, watching their followers play about, these actions. It is too much. Like everyone, like the previous speakers, we need leadership. We need leadership. We need guidance to do more than what we've done. We've done good. We are doing good, but it's not enough. It's say they want us. They know we will lament. They know we will cry, and that's it. Mohoz tweeted and said, "Yes, I have done it. What can you do about it?" So please.
Thank you, Nandaula.
Enough is enough. Thank you.
Great. W. Mungadi, you have the mic. Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much. I hope I can take 1 minute. And mine is just to...
Please do. I am timing you.
Yeah, mine is just to appeal to everyone. And public administration is multidisciplinary. You'd want to hear the position of the medical council, the medics. You want to hear the position of lawyers because at the end of the day, you might need something like civil disobedience. It doesn't have to be violent only. It doesn't have to be young people taking on the streets only, but we have also, because Eddie Mutwe's picture has affected all of us psychologically. I'm speaking from the medical point of view. Bessie's picture also came and affected us. So you need to get all these professional bodies coordinating and working together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's a speaker called
Right. Anyama is on.
Okay, Anyama, go ahead.
Can I confirm where I'm being heard?
You are. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, comrades. Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues here. My comment is this. Muhozi say that what can you do? You can call for protest, and we can start the protest small. We can start with members of parliament walking to parliament. They can start by not using their vehicles, and that is how we can start the disobedience, among other civil disobedience that we can do. And I feel the moment we do this, maybe they will take an action. Maybe the father will finally wake up and talk to the son. Otherwise, the situation we are left in is not embarrassing, but we shall be remembered as one of the weak people who kept quiet when our colleagues are being suffocated in detention. Thank you.
Thank you for that impassioned plea. Let's hear from Marion Bumper. Mariam Sonia B, if you could have her on. Mariam Sonia B. In the alternative,
Mariam.
we have 5 minutes left to this segment.
I think as she's preparing, then Right Honorable Luyembia can speak as she's preparing, because I cannot see her. Because he's on, at least he already has the microphone.
Okay, go ahead, Luyombia.
Yes, good evening to everyone. I want to salute all the Ugandans on this platform who have gathered to stand in solidarity with the victims of injustice and abductions, including Eddie Mutwe, who was recently abducted. And I, for one, want to salute the president, who already came out and urged Ugandans abroad and here at home to rise up and protest against this injustice of Museveni and the brutal son. I think it is now upon us, Ugandans, to come out, because the president has given us a direction. There's no more of the command, president commanders, do this and that. It is upon each one of us to rise up against these injustices. We as Nakawa are victims of abductions. Recently, in November 2020, we have 2 people who were abducted in Bugolobi market, and they are part of the missing 18, that is Lukwago Martin and Nalumoso Vincent. Uganda is to know that such injustices are not happening to only people supporting NUP. You can be a victim anytime. So I only beseech each one of us to come out, to rise up against these injustices, because the president himself has given us a way, a clear way on how we can address that. So it is upon each one of us. Let us do it within the law, just like recently we did on the anti-corruption protest at Parliament. Everyone,
Thank you.
Leader, you can rise up and say enough to this brutal regime.
Great. Joel Mirembe. Joel Mirembe. If Joel Mirembe is not here, Angela Asimwe. Or rather, if Joel can't speak. And then, yes, my colleague in production, I'll give you the last word. Okay. Wounded Ugandan. Wounded Ugandan. Okay, Wounded Ugandan, you are among our final 3 or 4 speakers before we close this segment. You have a minute.
Is that me, sir?
That is you. This is your handle.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, when you accepted the mic, I didn't hear you calling me. First of all, Mr. President, I have 1 minute. I'm sorry, I'm not going to recognize how much I appreciate your service. However, to the entire NUP leadership, I have some things I want to put across. Number 1, we are going to the youth elections, and we don't have the youth registrars in all parts of Uganda. My dear NUP leaders, I want to inform you that the youth registrars are not in every part of Uganda. I don't know if you know about that. We need your say on that. Number two, I request your opinion on if the MPs going to parliament is still useful to Ugandans. We request that if MPs cannot go to parliament, they should go to their areas and mobilize for protesting and civil disobedience and educating Ugandans on what protest vote is. The last thing is there are areas in Uganda that are weak in opposing dictatorship, like Western Uganda, where people are even afraid of contesting. We request that you organize in such areas more activities so that we can empower the people in those regions to protest. What we do today will shape tomorrow. Ugandans, the president wrote on his X account, maybe he has not verbally mentioned it, we should rise up and protest. In whichever way you understand those words, rise up and protest, please put them into action. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Angela Asimwe. We can have the speaker taken from Wounded Ugandan and given to Angela Asimwe. Then Susan Namata. And my colleague in production will have the final word. Angela, you have a minute exactly.
I've given her
Angela, are you able to?
I don't know if she's not.
Yes, I'm able.
Go ahead, Angela.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karamaji, the moderators, and all the speakers. To me and everyone else, one of the things I want to emphasize is the continued unlawful detention of Eddie Mutwe and other political prisoners is very unconstitutional and unacceptable. What's worse is the public mockery and the psychological torment by Mohozi, who uses social media to privatize illegal detentions, undermining the rule of law. So since we've been denied to physically demonstrate, we the people of Uganda must organize and apply sustained digital civic pressure. Let's flood platforms like we've done today. Let's have coordinated posts. Let's tag international human rights bodies. Document each and everything that this guy is posting, because we know he's going to delete them. We also need to file public interest petitions and make sure that we hold each and everyone accountable. The junta and his son, we need to personally hold them accountable under international law for aiding and abetting all these arbitrary detentions. We need to remind them and all other violators that power belongs to we, the people of Uganda, and the people we are watching, we are documenting, and we are ready to demand justice through every lawful channel, online, in court, and beyond Uganda's borders. Thank you so much.
They will say the same way. Susan Namata, to be followed by Action Now at Clinton Mirrors, and finally my colleague in production will have the final word. So Susan, you have 1 minute exactly.
Thank you so much, Karamaji. Thank you so much, the host. Thank you so much, Mr. President, and greetings to everyone. Mine is a concern and a comment at the same time. This is a rhetoric, it has been recurring since the 1960s, 1970s. We have since watched and seen human rights violation. But then my question is, how do we finally break this chain of human rights violation? How are we going to tell our generations, the generations to come, that we failed to break this disease, this cancer? Mine is more of a concern. We should wake up as a generation. We should finally put an end to this. We should finally put an end to this, to all these terrible actions against humanity. Now we have phones, we have the internet. We can use this internet. We can advertise everywhere. We can show the world that we are in terrible human rights violation happening in Uganda. I don't know how we are going to handle it, but we have to fight hard to end this so that the generations to come, we are not going to be accountable for just keeping quiet. I don't know, but we have to do something as a generation.
Thank you so much, the Wounded Ugandan, for emphasizing the youth elections. As we are heading to the protest vote, we need the youth to be behind us, and we need the youth to be involved in each and every step that is going on. Thank you so much, the host.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
Action now at Clinton Mirrors. You are our second last.
The question is: someone detains you today, and you plan for protest vote. Will he allow you? My point is, let everyone begin in the villages, move to trading centers. Not weekend, not next weekend, but now, whether what time, no matter the time. I am saying that it's time to end the stupidity of Muhoozi and Museveni for all this long-term 40 years. This is not about Ed Mutwe. This should be about every person who have gone through persecution for 40 years. We should end this, no matter the blood that it will cost, no matter the time it will take. We must take action. The people who keep saying, President, we need your order, he already issued the order. You have to start everywhere you are. Coordinate with the people you have, wherever you are. It's not about you. You don't need to be in Kampala, anywhere, because this is a national issue, not a Kampala issue or Mbarara issue. So start everywhere you are, and tomorrow, it's very good. Make sure you do not allow any person to be taken by police in any way. We are tired of this and has to come to the end. Members of parliament must step down. Me, I am saying, because they are not representing us if they cannot come in forefront. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Clinton. Nkunyinji, you have a minute. Nkunyinji, 1 minute. Okay, Nkunyinji appears to have a problem. My colleague.
I don't know if I'm now through.
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Well, I want to thank the president and all contributors. And as members of parliament, we associate ourselves fully with the position of the party, and we listen and take keen interest in all the concerns and voices from the public, the masses, and all of you globally. It's a calling for all of us to join hands and all efforts to ensure that we have a country where there is respect for the rule of law, human rights protection, democratic governance. Issues of kidnap now, as we speak about the kidnap, torture, and persecution of Eddie Mutwe and the other political prisoners. Just a few days ago, led by our leader of opposition, the Right Honorable Joel Senyonyi, we visited a number of political prisoners, and you could hear them narrating stories of torture, even amidst detention at prisons, which would be gazetted places. Still, there's detention. And equal as members of parliament, we have not been immune to the persecution. Just in Kawempe by-election, I was among those who were kidnapped in a drone. I was personally beaten at Wandegea police station before a police camera. So even would be gazetted places, there's persecution and torture. We must join our efforts. We associate ourselves and as Mwada and as a member of parliament and as well as a shadow minister. And equal on behalf of all members of parliament, we associate ourselves with the position of the president, the party, and listen and take an interest in all your concerns. We must join efforts and we commit to do so. I thank you.
Thank you, Nkunyinji. The final feedback from the floor, even though he's in production, will come from my colleague who's handling the back room. You have a minute as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Andrew. And Mr. President, I salute you, sir, and every leader from our secretariat. I want to appreciate Mr. Action. He pretty much spoke my words. Mr. President and the leaders, we have over 57 MPs, and out of maybe 57 MPs, about like say 10 of them dropped. But the rest of the members that we do have, they have their different constituencies. The problem that we have is that most of the organizations that we do them within the central. How about the other parts of the country where we have much influence? To me, if we do spread our hands and we're able to start something in Adjumani, something in Jinja, something in Mbali, something in Western Uganda, something in the South, and something in the Central, we spread and we break through. I believe we should be able. So let every member of parliament, they were elected by their people, the people that did trust them. So if they get them that mandate, they should go back and start something. Through that, and also regarding the command that you made, you already made a command. Whoever is on here and is waiting for the president's command, the command was made. If you read up that command, we should be able to take on the action. So I'm calling upon everyone. Let us not relax. Let us go out and let us encourage people from the original places where we all come from so that they can start off something. Yeah, that is pretty much. The rest of the other things have been spoken. Thank you so much, sir. I salute
Spot
you,
on.
Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. It now falls on myself and Dr. Nalukwago to invite responses from the panel. And Honorable Chagulanyi, for your benefit, the questions revolve around, I will not restate them. They are about 4 broad areas. 1, youth elections and participation, readiness to engage in the process. Number 2, what actions forward should be taken in light of what some people feel is the exhaustion of a template that perhaps is tired or has now become monotonous. We also have a question here for you from us as co-moderators here. What lessons should Ugandans draw from South Africa, Kenya, Sudan, Nigeria, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, where people power has surged to the fore against repressive regimes? And finally, for now, public discourse in Uganda is now rife with the divisive questions of ethnicity, social class, religion, which have been used for divisive purposes. What is your take on this delicate but very real issue? These questions fall largely on you, Honorable Chagulanyi, but your colleagues could come in and assist with responses. Over to you. I hate to be Stalinist about this and give you just 6 minutes to give a response. Honorable.
Thank you very much, Brother Andrew. I've listened keenly with pain to all the speakers, and I'll endeavor to fit within the time allocated to me. Largely, we tend to be shining a light on the plight most of the times, which makes us sound like crybabies. But before you solve a problem, it's important to repeatedly state it to the people so that they can understand that is the problem. I'm glad that everybody understands the problem, and now they're tired of speaking about the problem. They want a way forward. In my humble perspective, number one, the first step to a solution is to realize, we must realize that we are on our own. We, the people of Uganda, are on our own. You've seen what is happening. You saw how people were moved, those who matter and those who think they don't matter. You've seen the response and attention given to it by our leaders, the cultural leaders, the religious leaders, and very unfortunately, we got also a tragedy that made us realize that actually these people are attentive on what's going on in the country. They just choose what to respond to. So we must realize that we are on our own. Having realized that we are on our own, we must unite. All of us that are affected by what's going on in our country, we must unite. This is not an NUP issue. We might be taking the lead, but everybody is a potential victim here. So we must unite against evil that affects all of us. Having united, then realize also the situation at play in Uganda, while everybody is saying hit the streets tomorrow, NUP organize this and that. we must understand that unlike Kenya or Europe, unlike Europe or even Kenya here, where people have the little liberty to go to the street, our people are still healing from the disastrous memory of the 18th and 19th of November 2020, where the Museveni military unleashed terror on the people of Uganda and killed many. So people want to come out, but also are cautious in many ways. So my call is constant. Rise up and take action in your possible way, in your ability. Act in your numerous abilities. Those that can go to the streets, please do that as soon as now. Others that can protest in various ways, please go ahead right now. You saw that we were supposed to, yesterday we were supposed to address a press, but the SFC surrounded our headquarters, blocking us from even addressing a press conference or even gathering. As we speak right now, you see that we had to be hosted by NUP diaspora because our internet is constantly being messed with. That is where we are. However, we must fight back in any possible way. Brothers and sisters, you don't need permission to fight back against evil. I hate to hear people ask me to give an order. You don't need my order. I'm your fellow victim. However, if I must remind you, you have the permission and right. You don't need permission from anybody to fight back in any possible way. I must tell you, my brothers and my sisters, it is different ways that are going to do. Of course, I constantly say we do it non-violently, at least for us. Yes, Museveni and his friends picked guns. And if a group of young people today asked for my advice on that, I would say I cannot encourage you, but I cannot stop you either. This is time to fight for our liberty by any means necessary. We choose non-violence because we know that by doing that, we are denying Museveni justification to murder us. We've asked leaders to lead in different ways, and yes, they're doing it in different ways. I must also add that in Kenya, the Gen Z succeeded because they came off as leaderless. They did not tag their protest to anybody. And they also did not have any particular place that the regime did not know where to stop them. So we must be fluid. We must do it different because the regime is convinced that when they surround Bobby Wine's home or surround the homes of those that they expect to lead the action, then they will thwart it. We have to do it different. I've told the people of Uganda that any one of you can be a Chagula and you know exactly what to do. Go ahead and do it. You will be followed because everybody has had enough of this regime. They won't know who to stop. Do what you can and do all you can. You can start small, but be sure that when you start where you are with what you are, it will go on and on and on, and they won't know how to stop you. I must also advise brothers and sisters not to fall into the trap of tribalism. Museveni and his regime have survived by dividing us along tribal lines, whereby if you are convinced that Museveni is looking out for your own tribe, then you're going to be blind to the impunity. You're going to be blind to the corruption until it kills you. So don't fall in the trap of corruption. I know many people are banning, especially those that are not Banyankole. But I want you, my brothers and sisters, to know that this is not Banyankole versus the rest of Uganda. This is the Museveni family against the rest of Ugandans. He is trying to put the good people of Ankole into harm's way by posing as if he is torturing on their behalf, as if he's killing on their behalf, as if he's stealing on their behalf. And we must resist that. We must resist that because unity is a weapon that he wants to snatch out of our hands. I want in the same breath to call upon my Banyankole brothers and sisters to disassociate themselves with this evil that Museveni's son is representing, is using to misrepresent you. Please disassociate with the tribalism, because that's not who you are. I want to call upon the elders, the leaders, religious and traditional leaders, to raise their voice in such a sensitive time. And I don't know, I know we have brothers and sisters that are online here. I don't know, Andrew, if you will allow me to brief this in Uganda, just for our local people down here.
Please go ahead.
Yes, neyanza sebo neyanzege manyi nti tulinako baganda baffe bangi nnyo Jamshidi tankubye kama naye manyi kijamukolera bwe mbiddamu mu Luganda ne mbitaanya ne ngamba otusinkana ku mikutu nga gino ne twogera ku bizibu byaffe ebiseera ebimu abantu ne bagamba tudda ku mikutu kaba bizibu byaffe kwogera ku bizibu baagala solution. Kirungi nnyo nga tonnatandika kufuna ansa yakuddamu ekizibu n'okiddiŋŋana abantu ne bategeera ekizibu ekiri ate ne bakkiriza nti kizibu kyetaaga okutereeza. Kirungi nnyo nti kati buli munnansi alaba ekizibu ekiri. Ababadde tebannakiraba bakiraba kati gwe kibadde kitannatuukako kimutuuseeko. Kiki tulina okukola? Step esooka kwe kumanya nti tuli ku lwaffe. Mujja kukiraba baganda bange nti olunaku lwa leero Bannayuganda muli ku lwammwe. Tonnaba kuwulira maloboozi ge wandisuubidde nti ge galina okusitula okwogera ku nsonga eno eweebola. Kino tekibangawo, kiri unprecedented. Tekibangawo mu nsi yonna ti omuduumizi w'amagye akutta omuntu avuganya owa opposition nga talina musango gwonna gwakoze naye kubanga tamwagala n'amutulugunya amagye ne gamwegana naye n'avaayo namukuba n'ekifaananyi ng'ali bwereere n'agamba wuuno mukole kye mwagala. So ekyo kitulage nti tuli ku lwaffe. Bw'oba tonnaba kuwulira maloboozi mangi nnyo agava mu bakulembeze ab'eddiini n'ab'ennono then tumanye nti tuli ku lwaffe. Kitegeeza ki? Kitegeeza nti tulina okwegatta ffenna. Tulina okwegatta kubanga okwegatta ge maanyi. Buli muntu yenna yenna ali mu bulabe, so tulina okwegatta. Era mu kwegatta kuno njagala nnyo tuleme kwegatta nti kino kibiina kya NUP, eno ensonga si ya NUP, eno ensonga ya buli munnayuganda yenna. Oba oli Muganda, oba oli Muteesa, oba oli Mukyoli, oba oli Munyankole, wenna kisobola okutuukako. Oba oli wa NUP oba toli, oba oli wa opposition oba toli, kisobola okutuukako. So eno ensonga tugitunulire nga bannayuganda ffenna. Ate n'ekirala bw'oba olabye ekikyamu teweetaaga lukusa lwa Kyagulanyi. Sikulimbira kugamba nti Kyagulanyi vaayo tulagire, balagire okulaba ebikyamu mbiraba. Then buli omu osobola okukola ky'osobola okukola era mu kikole. Tetulinga Kenya gy'osobola okuvaayo n'otandika kwekalakaasa mu ddembe kubanga bano abasajja mu butiitizi bwabwe babeera batutunulidde. Naye tusobola okukozesa engeri zaffe ez'enjawulo eziri creative. Kitandikira ku internet ne kivaayo ne kidda ku street mu ngeri zonna ez'enjawulo. Musobola okukozesa engeri eziri creative wankona okwerwanako. Mbeera nkiddiŋŋana nti tetukozesa violence. Wabula ate era sigamba nti abaagala okwerwanako mu ngeri yonna okwetaasa ebikolobero ebibakolebwako timbagane buli mumu wa ddembe okulwanirira obulamu bwe. Ekya succeeding abantu b'e Kenya kubanga gavumenti yaabwe teyali ng'egenda gamba nti kati tugende ku kitebe ky'abano. No, abantu baasituka mu nsonda ez'enjawulo nga tebalina bwe babastopinga. Ebiseera bingi nnyo gavumenti ya Mwami Museveni baba bamanyi bwe tusiibako ekitebe kya NUP nosibira ne Kyagulanyi ewuwe tuba tubistopinze. Ku mulundi guno temukitwala nga kya NUP wabula kya buli munnayuganda asobola okwolwanako mu ngeri ye. Musobola okutandika empola nekigenda nga kikula. Osobola okukola ky'olina oba oli ku social media oba oli ku street wonna w'oli mu Uganda n'okwetoola ebitundu eby'enjawulo byonna. Buli omu n'akola ky'asobola. Naye njagala obbasaba baganda bange temugwa mu katego k'okubasosola mu mawanga kubanga Museveni buli wakola ebikolobero afuna baabyambaza. Kaakati mutabani wa Museveni ebikolobero bye ayagala byambaza Abanyankole. Luno si lutalo wakati w'Abanyankole n'amawanga amalala mu Uganda. Luno lutalo wakati wa Museveni mutabani we ne bannayuganda bonna. Era n'Abanyankole babonaabona nga bannayuganda abalala bonna. Temukkiriza akakundi ak'abantu abatono okasiiga tribe yonna kuba anoonya baakisiiga. Ayagala okuteekawo ekifaananyi nti bw'abba abba mu linnya ly'Abanyankole, bw'atemula mu linnya ly'Abanyankole. Temukkiriza muntu yenna baawula. Nsaba ne baganda baffe Abanyankole abalina emyoyo emirungi baveeyo beesambe ebikolobero mwami Museveni ne mutabani we bibakola. Mutabani wa Museveni bw'agamba nti ali mu kutulugunya abantu kubanga abayigiriza Lunyankole, abanga agezaako okuleeta mentality ya genocide, abanga agezaako okubambaza ebikolobero bye, abanga agezaako bakyayisa, basaba mu byesambe kubanga ensi bamanyi temuli bantu babi, muli bantu balungi, temukkiriza muntu yenna basibako matugambuzi kubaliisango. Nsaba n'abakulu ab'amadiini, abakulu ab'ennono ne ba elders abasajja n'abakyala abakulu baveeyo batangaze ku nsonga eno eggwanga lyaffe lisigale nga liri wamu. Andrew, you asked me the lessons we learned from Sudan and Kenya. It was not easy to thwart because people came from different directions with different styles. They did not tag it to anybody, and that is why it succeeded. Don't tag this to me. Don't tag this to NUP. Tag it to the people. Let us see people power at work. Thank you very much, Andrew. Hopefully, I've been able to respond to all your questions.
Articulate and spot on. Thank you very much. And also for the translation. I will not provide a translation because you spoke in both languages. Abanyankore kanyisi jeng mwahurra abagira ngo mweju twejura amatu Museveni agakwenda kutusiba hamwe n'umutabanuwe kwenda kutujwanzya bikorobero byakora abantu abana Uganda. So twena tuchejure tukwatanse hamwe na Uganda yona n'abateso n'abarango bona tukwatanse hamwe twenurure nkihanga. Thank you very much. The final question will be posed by my wonderful co-moderator, Dr. Judith Nalukwago. Please pose that question. It is to be fielded by Honorable Chagulanyi, and we will bring this to a close thereafter.
All right, thank you so much. My President, I'm going to ask you the last question, and this is a question of hope to Ugandans. I would love you to paint a picture for the audience of the kind of a country you aspire to build, you as a presidential candidate. What do you aspire, the kind of a country you want the rest of the Ugandans to live in?
Thank you very much, Dr. Nalukwago. And before I answer the question, I want to salute you for the activism. I follow you online, you and many other leaders that we have. We have Dr. Morgan, we have Dr. Nambasa, we have Natabi, Margaret, and many of you young people. I must tell you, our generation is proud of you, and you derive so much hope from the works that you do. Now, the kind of Uganda that I envision is the exact Uganda that General Museveni talked about when he was my age. The past few days I've been watching General Museveni talking about the things that are happening, only that he talked about them. He talked about them in 1986. He one time said that he will not preside over a country where people get killed and nobody can tell who killed them. That is the Uganda I want. He said that even if it's your child, when somebody does wrong, somebody has to take responsibility. That's a video that I saw on TikTok just yesterday. Unfortunately, it's not happening now. He talked of a country where when people treat people wrong, especially soldiers, when soldiers torture people, kill people, they have to be punished promptly and adequately. That's the kind of Uganda I envision. Briefly, a Uganda where everybody is equal before and under the law, where institutions work and they perform their functions, where the military is guarding our borders and maintaining security for our country, where the police is guarding people and their property and is a police service, not a police force, where there is justice, justice is not for sale, where justice is served promptly and adequately, where hospitals work, where doctors like yourself are supposed to be in a hospital now treating patients and not on social media fighting for their space to work, where lawyers are given chance to serve and are not used to avert justice, where teachers get paid promptly and do their work, where hospitals work, where roads actually work, where in a Uganda under new leadership, you wouldn't have people have to die senselessly. Generally, in a new Uganda, your poverty will only end in your house, just like in all other well-developed countries. But when you get out of your house, you will be as rich as any other Ugandan because the common good will be there. The roads will be well, the hospitals will be well, and all that. Unlike today in Uganda, where even if you're rich, your wealth only ends in your house. And when you get out, you're just as poor and as vulnerable as everybody else. We want a country that is not a laughing stock on the world stage, where we have a name, where our natural resources benefit our people, where men and women, boys and girls are equal and have equal opportunity, where opportunities are not given according to the shape of your nose or your second name, but where opportunities are given to everybody, where a citizen is judged by the content of their character, not who their father or their mother is. In a Uganda where everybody has dignity, everybody, where the law serves and protects all citizens equally. That's the kind of country that I envision. And I must tell you, Dr. Nalukwago and Karamaji, that Uganda is easy to achieve. We have Ugandans like yourselves here listening. I know any of you can be a very good leader. We have so many young people, qualified, talented, and patriotic young people that have had to leave our country because the country does not offer what they have. They are first world brains stuck in a third world country. When we take charge, we will get all those people and work together to lift our country to the levels that our country can get to. I know that is possible. We have the human resource, we have the natural resources, and we will get there. In brief, that's the kind of country I envision.
Yeah, very well said. Thank you for that response. It is soon to be breakfast in the Far East. I'd like to appreciate the Indians that I've seen on the space, Asians from other countries, Zimbabweans, South Africans, Kenyans, Tanzanians, Sudanese, Americans, Brazilians, where it's late in a number of these countries. It's middle of the afternoon in Washington, where we have our colleague Dr. Kauma, who helped us hold this space alongside his colleague. It's middle of the night in Africa, approaching middle of the night in Africa, late evening in Johannesburg, Nairobi, and Kampala, and it's dinner time in most of Europe. Thank you. I'll give the final word to my colleague, Dr. Nalukwago, to bring this space to a close.
Thank you so much, everyone who has tuned in. Thank you so much, Mr. President and the leadership of the party, for giving us a space, for giving people a time to express themselves. I was so US, because that's a developed economy. 222 way above us. But Kenya here, how do they earn 8 times what I earn? So those are the challenges. That is why you ask yourselves, why is this medical doctor in activism? But the regime has pushed us to get there.
Dalawa bali yung ano ko? Dito ko.
All right, thank you so much. I think we wanted to read the tweets of some people, of some of the things people have tweeted, but it's a bit late. I don't know whether we should.
One day this is going to be history, and we're going to see it in our lifetimes. So
Thank
don't
you very much.
despair. Keep the fire burn. Keep the fire burn.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
I think banayi mukulukeyo live ewedde kati muza katwebake oba if anyone ali eyo ayagala kubaako kyayongerezaako osobola osindika request tondaba abasinga bemusindika temulina network. So nga president bwagambye, let's continue demanding the release of our comrades. Ate era abasinga mbadde mugamba mbu lwaki tatulagira, lwaki takola ki? Nedda. The day lwe yateekayo tweet n'agamba nti buli omu atandikire waali, that's when lwe yatulagira. So leka tuleme kusigala era nga twekwasa nti ajja simanya akole kino, simanya ajja atugambye tukole kino, yatugamba yamala. Start wherever you are, do whatever you can in your capacity. Tolinda nze, tolinda president, tolinda mubakawo, because nawe osobola okubeera omubaka, nawe osobola okubeera president, ate lwaki gw'oba omulinda? N'olwensonga ezo kirabika mwena mwena oba muri busy simanyi, but because ndaba mwena mwena mugamba network, I don't know whether it's my network oba yammwe. Ndowooza for that. So endayo wano if at all there's anyone. Okay. Shami agambye ampulira. Ndowooza if waliwo aliyo ng'alina kyagala oyisaawo osobola okusindika request then netukuteekayo, and if teri aliyo we call it a night, but let's not stop from demanding for arguments, because where they are, it's not where they are supposed to be. Ate era naawe nkyo oyinza okukeera nga lugwe batuteyo. Okay, let's hear from Shami. But, let's do like this.
Bulungi mukwano, osibye otya no ssebo? Twebaza empeerezaayo, weebala otuweereza, weebala byonna byonna byonna. Naye nga neebaza omukulembeze, wadde obwedda bakwatamu intaneti, naye tumaze message ne tugikola ki ne tugiwulira. Banaye kino kigende eri bannayuganda ffenna abakooye okunyigirizibwa mu ggwanga lyaffe, abakooye okutulugunyizibwa bannange. Tetwetuulirayo gwanna kugamba nti baakwata ono ate ffe tufune akatengo gye tunaakoma naffe okutya. Awo ono musibira mu bbwa wagenda otufugira awo. Naye bwe tunaavaayo ne tusuka ne tugamba ekimala kimala, musibira mu bbwa tugenda mutwala. Ekyokuli bannange tuleke okweyawula mu mawanga. Bano abantu kye baagala okugezaako okuteekawo kyakweyawula kubanga baali tebamanyi nti abantu b'omu West baazuukuka. Biri bye baali bagendanga ne babalondesa ng'ente, kati nabo baabigaana, nabo baagala change. Ate bano abantu kye bali mu kutya tebali kwagala ekintu ekyo kibeerewo. Baali bamanyi nti mu Central yokka yeyagala change. Naye kati bakizuula nti ne mu West abantu baabuuka. Okitegeera. So kati bannayuganda banenze kyenyiza obagamba yonna gye muli. Muveeyo tuteeke eddoboozi lyaffe wamu tulwanirire eggwanga lyaffe. Nze kino nkyogera ku bannakazadde b'eggwanga bannange. Gwe bw'obanga tonazaalirako ku seminti toyina ky'otugamba, naye bw'obanga gw'oli eyo omwana yali akulumira kugamba zaalira ku seminti. Bannaye muveeyo tunone eggwanga lyaffe mumusibira mu bbwa. Bw'oba okooye ogenda mu ddwaliro nga omuntu oyo yali afudde mu ddwaliro ng'ogenze gula ddagala obanga onoonya ssente zigula ddagala eryo n'ogenda okutuuka ng'afudde ku kitanda olw'eddagala lye bakusaba ng'ate osasula omusolo. Bannaye muveeyo tulwanirire eggwanga lyaffe. Teri neighbor agenda kuva mu ggwanga ddala gy'atulwanirire. Bannaye kino ekizimba kye tulina tukirimu ffe ffekka bannayuganda. Ono omusibira mu bbwa si munnayuganda, ekyo mukitegeere. Ye yajja kutunyonyonta, yajja kulaba ng'atuzikiriza amale aveemu adde ewaabwe e Rwanda. Okitegeera. Bannaye bannayuganda buli wooli beera n'obulumi. Ate bannaye nze mbagamba kano akalulu ke tugendamu bannange. Bannange mbeegayiridde si mu bubi. Gwe bw'oba owulira ng'otya okuyiwawo mu busimanyiza nina ekizimbe kyange abaana bange. Bannaye gendako ku booda ya Kenya, gendako ku booda ya Rwanda, Congo, Tanzania. Bannaye ffe mutuleke tuyiwewo emibiri abagala olwanirira abaana baffe n'abazzukulu. Olw'ensonga ono musibira mu bbwa bwe tunaamuwa gaapu eno, mmwe temumanyi kyagenda kukola baana b'abantu mmwe. Olaba yababuzaawo bali mu kali akalulu akagapaka nakati emyaka 5 tebaddangamu kulabika. Abalala bali mu makomera. Mmwe mulowooza singa ddamu n'atukwatamu mulowooza ki ekigenda okuddako? Waakiri tuffe omulundi gumu abaana abanaasigalawo ne babeera mu future ennungi naye ng'avuddeko. Banenzi bannayuganda kye mbasaba tuyiwewo omubiri omulundi gumu aveeko dani okuyiwawo nga tutuyitiira ate atukomerewo. So kati yonna gy'oli kanoonye kalonde kakuume ate twerangire kuba bye Bakama tagenda tulangirira. Banne tukooye okwogera twogedde emyaka emeka twogedde. Yesaawa tukole action. Banne tweggyemu akatengo eyo fiire gye tweteekamu yagenda tusibira mu buddu ebbanga lyonna. Banne tuli gwe tokimanyi nti oli muddu mu nsi yo. Oli muddu mu nsi yo. Okitegeera. Oli muddu mukwano. Wanjikaiza.
Nti nze atali mu Uganda right now nga n'ensi gye nnimu tebakkiriza kwekalakaasa, ki kyenyinza okukola okulaba nti like omugundi gwa president gwe yatukubidde nange ngwenyigiramu omulanga?
Kati abali ku kyeyo nga gw'oli eyo nsuubira buli muntu alina gye yava. Buli muntu alina ekitundu mwava. Mu kitundu ekyo mwova ky'oba olaba omukulembeze yatugamba tukole eggaali. Okitegeera. Oyinza okukola eggaali yo ku ground ng'olina omuntu gw'oyitamu. Abantu abo bw'oba nga tosobola kubeera ku ground, support them financially. Bawe ssente, bakube kalenda, bakube sitiika, batambuze enjiri ya protest vote nti ayongere okubuusa abantu abalala. Gwe naawe yoba okoze contribution oba okoze contribution. Bw'oba omuntu oyo gwewadde okulwanirira talina ssimu, muyiweemu essimu agende ng'atambuza ekigambo kya pulezidenti. Mugulire abaana bo MP3 bateekengamu ekigambo nga waalina akatundu kyagenzeeko ng'apuleyinga eddoboozi ly'omukulembeze nti bannange mugiveemu okwetiitiira. Okitegeera oyinza okuba toli ku ground naye teekamu kasente. Ffenna wano kye twetaaga revolution. Tetugenda funa ku silver plate. Tugenda girwanirira. Okitegeera keys.
Ekirala
oba mpulidde
bakyabuuza ekibuuzo ekigamba nga babuuza pulezidenti nti tunaakaaba mpaka dimbulangirira oba kulembera abo bo obawayo kagambo ekinga bwe tumaliriza.
Keys ekyo ekintu kya omukulembeze ekintu kye babuuza mbu atuduumire tulabe ekiddako. Bannange ene obusimanyi buli muntu nsonga eyo wagitegera na wagiraba. Naye nza kusayidi eyange. Oli omuntu gwe mubuuza ekyo ekibuuzo. Pulezidenti tasobola bwana abagamba nti muduumire bano abantu bajja gamba abakumyemu omuliro. Naye bw'oba owuliriza speech z'omukulembeze ayina busigino bw'atuwa nga ffe abaana ba ghetto n'omanya nti kati wano aduumidde. Bannange mubeere mukono obwongo bukozesa rabadaba style. Okitegeera kati ono omusajja ono yali musirikale amutambulirako. Yatugamba bannange mulinze era mbagambe. Kati awo kufa abalina busigino bwa ghetto omwana omanya nti kati abagambye omuntu oyo mumukoleko research. Okitegeera nzijukira we bakuba ayitawa n'avaayo n'atugamba ne pulezidenti ffe tukoyo tukubanga ente tugenda kumenka. Omukulembeze n'agamba bano abantu mbabateeremukko mubawulire. Okitegeera so kati temudda ogamba aduumire tagenda kuduumira wabula kino ekintu kiraba n'ayonka nti ye ng'omukulembeze tasobola bagamba direct wabula naye aba abagamba musituke. Bane tusituke enough is enough. Temuli naye bagamba nti bane kati kino bane buno obusirikale tubusobola. Kububoola famire yaabwe gye babeera ne mubukuba. Nawe ne mumanya nti no bye batukola bituluma. Kitegeera keys naye nga muneyanziza akakisaako. Webale kumpaako kyansi eyo ne njogerako naye nga bannayuganda bannange mweggyemu okutya. Tuveemu okutya. Bwe tuba tugambye nti kati tulumbe. Kitegedde. Ate mulekeraawo okukkiriza okubawa ebidomola bye bali bagabira mu community zammwe. Bunkumi 2 mala 2 mala 1,000. Bannange waliwo ebintu byolaba nga bagabira abantu nga bayaayaana n'owulira obusungu. Ne mugamba omuntu abalumiza obwavu ate yasindisa abantu abali mu bagabira ebintu mwe temubiraba. Mubigaanye. Emyaka gyonna gyafuze apayina bbawa kidomola ekigula nusu kakaaga 15 2,000 zakuwa z'olwaniro ezitagula na sukaali. Oh my God. Bannayuganda tunyiige obusungu batubakube bukubi nga mpiso immunization tugenda zibakuba. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Kale bambi keys.
Yanziza okushalingako ebirowoozo n'ababaddeko n'amabaddeko wansi banaye tweyanziza okubeerako ne muyiza ekigambo ky'omukulembeze kozi tukimanyi bulungi nti kyetwetaaga okujja era nekitwongeramu amaanyi kisigala nga tutambula. Ekyo lwaki koze broadcast kimanyi bambi
era obwedda bazikwatamu mwana obwedda bazikwatamu.
Comrades mbalamusiza mikwano. Musibye Muwambye mutya abeno.
Keize sikyakuwulira eddoboozi liri wansi.
Nze mumpulira.
Awo nkuwulira.
Aye Keize eddoboozi libadde wansi. Nkulamusizza omukyala Shami.
Nze simuwulira nobayira ayogera ate simulaba. Simuwulira ate simulaba.
Kati ate gwe Keize ompulira nze. Kale nkulamusizza ssebo weebale kuweereza. Bannange okay kakati bannayuganda ndabako 23 tushalinge ku ndowooza yange oba mubaddeko n'omulamwa kuba naakatuuka baaba.
Edda tubadde twogera ku bigambo by'omukulembeze tubadde tuva ku X space nga bali mu kugezaako ku expanding eddoboozi ly'okubanja Eddie Mutwe n'abasibe abalala.
Kale kakati kyeŋŋamba nange okwongerezako ebyo ebigambo eyo nsonga nkulu ffenna tulina okukola kye tusobodde okukola. Fine tuze twogera ku nsonga ya protest si ya 2026 yokka nga bwe tulindirira no essaawa yonna tubadde nga tu protestinga okufuna obwenkanya mu ggwanga lyaffe. Naye ife naddala ffe abamanyi ekyokukola so si bali abatakimanyi kubeera bwera ate balina kye batugattako okuggyako ffe abazibuka amaaso mu biseera bino ffe tulina okufungiza n'amaanyi amangi okufuna kye tulina okukola mu ideas ez'enjawulo ekituyamba mu bbanga ettono ennyo lye tusigazza okulabika nga twejjako Museveni. Kubanga kisookera ddala ffe tulina okwebuulirira mu mitima bye tukola ne kye tulina okukola ki okuzzaako. Tetugenda kwebuuza ku baali abatamanyi kyakola, tetugenda kwebuuza ku baganda baffe abatatusapotinga ffe nga ffe abalina obulumi era abasalawo abamanyi ki kye tutuddemu. Nti tutudde mu buzito, tulina akazito bwe kati baganda baffe bawambibwa ennamba yaffe gye twaligambye nti kati tuweze ennamba bweti bagitoolako abantu babakuba babatiisa okutwegattako n'abatwegasseeko bennyini abali solidi. Omusajja batunuzaamu emmundu okola ki titweyambye tutya. Ekisingira ddala tetujja gamba nti ate katugende mu nsiko, tetujja gamba nti ate katukwate emmundu, tetujja gamba nti ate naffe katutte abaabwe. No, ffenna tuli bannayuganda tulina kukola ekintu kimu yakusitukiramu mu bungi. Ifefe ka bamanya ekyokukola, ifefe ka bategeera ekyokukola mu butono bwe tulimu, mu nnamba gye tulimu tujja kusobola okufuna obwenkanya bwaffe.
Dafine kyoyagala ogambye mbuno tusituke tukole tutya nina kye sitategeddeemu awo. Okimanyi nti omuntu gwe tulumba akozesa military government mutemu mutujju tetusobola mukwasa just na softly, tulina mukwasa naffe n'amaanyi. Sibitegedde bye wadde nnyonnyola
anti kati ekisookera ddala siso olina okumanya nti gavumenti gye tugenda okuzimbawo tefanaganirako ddala neya Museveni. Kati tojja gamba nti bakutte Eddie Mutwe naffe tugende tukwateyo owaabwe. Naffe yembeera gye tuba tukozesa kati naffe tutandika okuwamba abaabwe tubakwate kye tuba tukola. Okay, naffe tufune emmundu oba tugende mu nsiko wano twegeyamu nga ba comrades. Tulina buli omu aleeta idea ye tweyambye tutya mugundi gye tulimu eya people power tweyambye tutya kuba bwekugamba nti ffe tetuli violent. Okay, tutandika okubeera ba violent naffe tuleete ebyokulwanyisa, naffe tubateme, naffe tubawambe tubateeke mu basement zaffe oba nedda, naffe tubatandikeko oba nedda. Kuba ffe tuwuliriza president byatugamba. Okay, ffe tuwakanye ebigambo bya president tukole ekyaffe kinaatuyisaawo mu bbanga lye tusigazza. Tukole tutya? Oba tugende naffe tufune emmundu Oba ntegedde sister kyembadde mpisaawo nti tulina kusitukira mu namba.
Kyengezaako okugamba
Ennyabo
oli mukulembeze tasobola keera ku makya n'atugamba nti banne mugende mukole violence kuba mukulembeze. Kitegeera bannansi nga ffe abatulugunyizibwa abanyigirizibwa mukulembeze tulina okwesitukira ne tuteekawo violence.
Anti kati
kimala batuseemu abantu bangi nga tuwoza katugenda omukulembeze banaye kati tetwagala violent. 5 years
kakati olaba mama
wambibwa mu kalulu akagwa paka nakati saddangamu kulabika.
Nkimanyi
kisa ekitala naye attibwa na kitala.
Ekyo tujja kikolera ddala naye nga tusoose ne option ya protest vote mu numbers. We demonstrate in a big number.
Kati kyoyagala tugamba tugenda kudemonstrate nga mu peace baveri bakukube ogamba nti tuli mu peace munaye tuli mu
anti kati kiri bwe kiti ojjukira akalulu ke kawempe. No, bwajja nawe olina okwedefendinga ng'omuntu naye tetugenda genda na byambe, tetugenda kulumba na biti bya kulwanyisa, tetugenda kulumba na jambia oba na mayinja nga ge bagamba. Kuba kati president Chavera tutayiza buli lunaku nti we tunabeera violent bagenda kwesa chance eyo batutte bulungi bagambe nti bana abantu babano babadde n'ebyambe newankubadde babitusibako tebatukwatanga na kizibiti nti bibino. Kakati gwe bwona ogenda okulwanyisa omulabi ogenze n'ekyambe kitegeeza nti tugenda kwetemaatema. Tugenda mu numbers ensonga lwaki tubadde nga tukubiriza abakungu okukola civic awareness. Buli muntu wali ku kitundu kye abeerewo ng'akimanyi. Naawe atali wakunga ng'oli comrade oli futu soja kola eggaali yo nga president bwe yatugamba. Lwakuba nti eggaali abantu bayinza obba nga bakitegeera bulala naye eggaali eyo ya mugaso nnyo. Buli muntu kasaba nga agikoze okusinziira ku kyalo kwazaalibwa. N'ogamba nti nze nakubadde nfunye abantu bange ne wabeera 10 naye nga muli omuntu ogwo nga mussa ekintu ekyo. Wallahi yegali ebijja kukola omulimu munene golowooza obululu babubbirangawa ku siteegi awo wennyini. Esigi waffe we yakwatira ebipapula ebyo n'agamba oke kantwale diala forms zino nga buli polling station agamba kanzijo diala form mbeere nayo kumonitaringa diala forms ezo enamba ebadde mmeka baleme kutuuka eri zibeere 70 bakole 700. Ekirala kamera comrade zibeera ne kamera buno obulumi bwe tulimu tujja buvaamu nga struggle tugivuddemu. Wa struggle okugivaamu kwa kutuuza president mu ntebe. Ekitegeeza nti otawulwe tugenda funa option eddako nga tuvudde mu protest vote in big numbers. Fine tugenda tetwetaaga abantu tukula mu maaso ne naffe tulina okwedefendinga. Gwe genda mu kalulu okwegugunga okakuma n'okalangirira ng'okimanyi nti oli ready okuyita mu buli mbeera okutuuka nga president atudde mu ntebe nga tumulangiridde. Genda ng'okimanyi nti kibooko gye ziri Museveni tayinza butazireeta. Genda nga weewaddeyo nga tukole gurupu buli omu beera ne gurupu yo. Yegaali president gy'atugamba ye yakiraba dda n'amanya nti abantu bange bano bwe banaabeera ne gaali ku ground teri kijja bayisa mu maaso. Ekisookera ddala tetuba na biso nti tuzze kutemangana. Ekyaffe kyakukuba kalulu kukakuuma nakalangirira. Tekikwetaagisa kugenda na jambia. Omusirikale ajja kujja kuba tiyagasi gwe beerawo. Tugenda kwedefendinga naye nga si kuba masasi nga bwe bakola. Kuba ekyasi bagenda gyeyambisa batusibe. Bagenda gyeyambisa batukube batutte. Naye muntu kasota violent tagenda kutta. Era baludde babikola wakeeka wempe wekati wekaali. Abaana abantu kabalemesa okuba akalulu tebakakuba. Rallies zaali mmeka? Teyali emu nti oba yali emu nti kwe twawangulira nno. Twaddinganganamu buli lunaku almost like a week. N'akalulu tetwakayitako. Kyekyo tekirina okukola. Ekirala buli comrade asobola okukola kyokola. Abatakimanyi tubeesonyiwe ne buli asobola okukola kyokola. Bannanga tuteekewo akeegugungo tufune muganda waffe ave mu bulumi bwalimu. Abaddewo ebbanga akumye president waffe nga tewali complaint yonna. Essaawa zino abasajja tebakyalina kiseeri bulamu bwaffe. Ogwo ogusajja gumuhozi tegulina kiseeri bulamu bwa pulezidenti, talina kiseeri bafuutu soja. Ba MP tebalina kibagenda tugasa. Tosuubira nti MP walina kyagenda okuyamba. Singa kyaliwo singa akikola dda. Gwe gwafuutu soja ne pulezidenti. Mweka mwabali mu struggle. Kyova pulezidenti atuuka n'agamba mwe bafuutu soja mbaagala nnyo. Balinawo essuubi ly'amaanyi. Lwaki? Akimanyi nti fuutu soja asinga ne MP atudde mu ntebe wali. Mwali mulabyeko ba MP bameka bakeera ne bakola rallies za kwegugunga. Kabeera owuwo gwe walonda wali omulabyeko wa. Yadde ng'atuuza olukiiko ku kyalo ng'asomesa abantu ekyokukola. Mu budde obubi buno mwe tuli ng'abantu bawambibwa buli lunaku. So kyekyo kye tulina okukola okwebereramu tukole ogwaffe nga tetulina gwe tutunuulidde. Wanyisebo ye baba wanje kale baba naye essimu yange ng'erina eko buzibu ki? Ya mpulira ebigambo byeddamu. Kati no bikyalimu. Anyway kamaliriza sibule bannayuganda abawuliriza. Buli aliko bannange nsaba otwala ebigambo bino nawe gatteko endowooza yo n'omutwe gwo. Abatali mu struggle tubaleke kuba olwedde batunafuya bunafuya. Making sure nti at least buli lunaku buli kiro buli ddakiika osala empenda mutabwa tuyambe baganda baffe abali mwene embeera ey'okunyigirizibwa omuntu wakusiba bakusibye ebintu byonooneka obulamu bukyukira ddala. Then making sure nti yeno ennaku gye tuyitamu egenda kukoma 2026. Bannange mbalamusiza musule bulungi.
Toyanza Madam Daffy bannange mwena ababaddeko ndowooza ebigambo by'omukulembeze ne message yo nayo nebadde mu space for today ey'okudimandinga abaana baffe abo abamanyikiddwa n'abatamanyikiddwako mayitire muza mugitegedde bulungi and era announcement ne assignment mugitegedde nti wonna wooli kola ky'osobola mu busobozi bwo okulaba nti tusigala nga tubanja nga tufuna ekyokukola okulaba nti baganda baffe bano bateebwa kuba gye bali si gye balina okubeera ne famire zaabwe. Naffe era abasinga tumanyi nti oluusi bye tubiyitamu lwa gavumenti eno etukulembera. So ebyo byonna birina okutwongera amaanyi okulwana okulaba nti twejjako bano abasibira mu bbwa abatukulemberedde almost kati bagenda mu myaka 40+. Naye ng'ate bye batukulembedde tebiyamba muntu wa bulijjo okuggyako bo nga bo abantu. So nnyongera okubajjukiza nti tugenda mu kalulu k'abavubuka bannange. Genda weekebere mu register, genda overifying oba mwoli, ate bw'oba olina obusobozi obwesimbawo weesimbewo course obukulembeze era butandikira wansi. Tugenda otutuuka mu 2026 if at all God wishes nga ebifo ebisinga already tumaze obikola ki obitaking because tukimanyi bulungi nti it's the same process that government ya Museveni gye badde ekozesa okufuna abakulembeze ne bateekako nga ba NRM then wetuukira mu 2026 nga bye bali mugiyambako okukola emivuyo mu kalulu. So mbakoola mwena wherever you are, genda ku kyalo kyo waliwo abaana already abaliwo coordinatinga nabo verifying osobole okulaba nti wenyigira mu kalulu kano ke tugendamu kegenda tandika mu Gwomukaaga nga 5 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So n'obugambo obwo bannaye ati temunzikiriza ne tugamba nti musule bulungi kuba ndaba teri aliyo alina kyagala okwongerako, so kambaleke bambi musule bulungi nenga temwerabira ensi yaffe Uganda etwetaaga nnyo n'okusinga ekintu ekirala, ate era ffe balina okugirwanirira okulaba ntugizza wetugyetaaga, si muntu mulala yenna alina kyagenda tulwanirira. Peace and love bannaye, musule bulungi, tubaagala nnyo, Omukama ayongere bakuuma. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.